Hello and welcome to what is a pretty sad tournament today. Everyone in the EU Siege scene will at least know, well, at least in the PlayStation scene, will know why we're here today. We have a draft style tournament in memory of our good friend Ben Hope, also known as Crow Gremlin, who sadly passed away just a few weeks ago. And today we're just going to be getting together, just having a draft tournament, just to raise some money for a couple of charities that we've elected and also for his family. So the links will be available in the chat. Hit up any one of the staff that are involved. There'll be myself and Aria that will be covering this today. So yeah, I thought that I would come on today and just show my face, just because I felt like it was a bit better to do this face to face, just to introduce and just have a little chat very quickly about what we were doing and what's happening and stuff like that. So yeah, but today it's just going to be some fun games. It's a draft style tournament, like I mentioned. It's going to be best of ones. Not all the games are covered. Most of the games are played off stream. I think there is. I'm not 100% sure how many teams there is in total, but it's basically just going to be the best of ones from each one, whatever captain wants to get their stream, and then obviously best of one final, and then all the money and proceeds will go towards the charities that we've chosen, as well as Ben's family. I didn't personally know Ben. I played and casted a couple of games though that involved him, and he was definitely one of the players that always impacted the game. There's a couple of clips even just from way back when I started casting that involved Ben directly, and he was just one of those players that could change a game. He's known for playing a lot of Boss G, and he's known for playing Ying, and I'm hoping to see a lot of players today playing that in his memory, and I'm hoping that we can at least have some good memories to kind of at least remember Ben in a good light. But with that being said, we are going to get into the first game, and we will have a look at where we're going to be going, and we'll see what things we'll have in terms of the siege. So we'll get some siege going, and feel free to hit the chat, show your support, hit the links, and donate as much money and stuff as you can. But we'll get into this first game, and Arya's going to run us through the ban phase. But yeah, let's get going.
Okay, so we're all going to hop in here into the ban phase, and we're going to see the first side take out the first operator. Any predictions on what operators we're going to see? I'm praying we're not going to see those, the Ying band or the Vigil, as it is for Ben.
Yeah, I don't think so.
First ban is going to be the Habana. Nothing unusual for that for a clubhouse. Makes those hatches just a little bit more difficult. Bring that element of strategic play into the board. Next attacker. Any predictions, Shambry? Any predictions?
A Nog probably. I would imagine would probably be the one that goes. Also, not so surprised. Yeah, go.
Not too surprising to see the Osa being taken off the board, but again, Osa, if you have those Osa shields placed on the main breach for CC, can cause a decent amount of issues for the defenders, unless they've got a few pocket impact grenades that they can just chuck at them and hope for the best. So you're in a really sort of way of dealing with the Osa on the breach. Want to see the Cade taken off the board again? A Cade, standard enough ban. I don't think anyone here is going to be even put out slightly by this kind of a ban, but that is just
It's Clubhouse at the end of the day. I mean, it's never really the most exciting when it comes to the bans. It's Cade. Havana usually is banned away because it is, of course, it's a map where you always need to ban a hard breach usually, and that is usually the one that does get banned. And then Capcan's a bit of a rogue. I think he's just became more of a he's became more of a presence. Let's be honest. His pick rate's been up. I don't know why in the last couple of seasons he's just got up and up and up, and I think it's probably just because it's getting more aggressive now, so that's probably why he's getting banned a lot more as well.
As we say that, we're going to hop into our first round here, as Goatnax's side is going to head to CCTV Cash for their first defense bomb site. Any predictions for this game, Sham, as it is all in fun and spirits? It's going to be a fun one.
Got me there just so taking a drink. Yeah.
As we say that though, we're not going to see a Boss G for the first round. A little bit unfortunate. No Ying, no Boss G. It's a little bit unfortunate. I'm surprised that Goatnax isn't bringing the Boss G. Seeing as it's just something we should be doing for this tournament. Boss G is all fun and games.
It depends. Not everyone will know, of course. So not everyone will know that is what he was known for. But Very few players do know that, and we'll likely will see quite a lot of it. But then again, we may not see as much on stream because we've only got like 4 or 5 games on stream. The rest of them are off stream, so there's games being played as we speak. The bracket is completely updated. I'm not 100% sure on the bracket, so if you want to just run through what's happening, I will very quickly check the bracket.
Okay. So, you know, default CCTV cache for our first bomb site. Nothing unusual with going here first. And we're just going to see some basics happening. There's nothing really going on for the first, you know, 2 minutes of the map. That main breach will be popped. And we might potentially even see Rob the Villain going here for a bandit trick. That's not going to happen. As we say, that's Goatnax going to find the first pick here on to Ganja, and that's going to be your Thermite falling down. That breach is not going to be caught in this game anyway, as that is going to be the Thermite taken. Ace still on the board, but we'll just have to wait and see if the Maverick and the Ace here can use the synergy to get that breach open, which that could potentially be happening here, but Goatnax is going to be the thorn in the side here for the side of Kylan's team. And that breach is still not going to be opened, as the Ace is going to now throw the Selmas onto the breach. That breach is going to get popped, and this is where the pressure should be placed onto the defenders very, very shortly. But not much is going to be happening, as no one has been able to refrag onto Goatnax, as he did find the first one onto the Thermite. And he's just going to lurk here in the garage, putting in the immense pressure here onto the attackers. I'm not seeing a whole lot happening here, Sham. It's just, you know, it's a very stagnant round here coming out from the Kylan's team. And nothing's really, you know, that breach is now getting open, but it's only one side and it's only a small breach. It's not going to be the size of if Thermite was there to open it. As I say that though, the refrag is going to come through as Goatnax is going to fall, and that is going to be Kylan eventually finding one, but the bandit's going to come back here with a refrag, and it's now going to be leveled up again to a 3 versus 3.
Kaelan here pushing through the breach there, got himself a double kill and triple kill just to follow and looking for the quad kill, and is able to at least get the down, but there's no one on the other side there. Seems to think that someone was coming to come and take the 1v1 with him. That doesn't happen. Rob the Villain though, to find that a C4 from below will prevent the plant from going down. That's kill that's dropped, and it's technically at a 1 versus 2, but we'll find out in a second as Rob is still below, looking to go through garage, and it's looking like it could be a first round ace for Kaelan here, as Skim is able to get the diffuser down inside of Cash at least, and now goes for the coverage using the Gemini clone just to throw a little bit of bait around to try and gather some information. Knows the players on the side of Rafters, and surely Kaelan's going to go for the rotate now and look for that kill and try and get himself a first round ace. He does hold angle to help the rest staircase, sees the player, gets a little bit of damage onto Rob, but it's Skim to prevent the ace from coming through, and the 4k on the round for Kaelan to start, and that will be the first round on the board for the attacking side of Rebound.
Very, very solid round. Taking out that Thermite earlier on didn't really impede on the round at all. They have the Ace and the Maverick there, which, you know, that synergy between those two can just get a breach open in pretty much any situation whatsoever. Bandit was on the board, but that just didn't matter when Maverick was able to make those cheese holes. And after that, it was just open the breach and then put the pressure onto them.
Yeah, it was a decent round. I was quite surprised at how long it took them to do it, but they eventually got there. And just as you know, just as I got asked in the chat a while ago, just to mention that the way the brackets working, there is 4 rounds, so round 1, 2, and semi-finals, finals. So all 4 rounds will be played on stream. Not all games will be played on stream, of course, though, because there's a couple of sides to the bracket. This is obviously the first game, Team Revamp versus Team Rednats. Whoever wins this will go into the next round and play against Jay Bound, and that's pretty much it. Straightforward. So straightforward draft style bracket. We've got 4 matches on stream, so 4 best of ones, and that will settle it for the day. But back to CCTV, and I'm not keen on the CCTV holds because I think it's not one of the, it's not a great, it's one of those ones that it's like a site that baits people into thinking it's good, if that makes sense. It's like if you can play it good, then it's a good site, but it's one of those ones that takes a lot to actually play good, because if you just open a breach and kill the person rafters, then you have that entire side of the map done. Easy peasy, that's that. And then you can plant B, and then you just need to cover the bomb part. It sounds simple in theory, but at the same time, it's a lot easier for the attackers to win this than it is for the defenders. But it's one of those ones where people just seem to always want to go there. Bringing them onto though to try and push the player from the rafters lurk, and that's Shamima that's up there now. It is no longer Goatnax that has that role as the Monty now begins to push up. The impact need does go out. Not much damage done onto Goldust there, just a little bit using the impact, and quite a bit there now as they're down to about 20 odd HP, and they'll opt to just drop back a little bit as Goatnax came to join the party and will find that kill from the bottom of the garage, and a little bit of damage as well at the same time onto Ganja. as that mirror is popped on the main breach. And it was an interesting strat. They brought the mirror strat on the main window, or the main breach even, and it didn't quite go their way because it's not delayed them that much more. Instead, it's made it a little bit easier. The Ace was able to open it up. They didn't bring a bandit this time, and instead they opted to go for the mirror setup. And it's not quite worked on the main breach, at least. They do still have the mirror window inside the cache, and we'll see if that can at least bring some pain towards these attacking players.
Definitely nice to see, you know, like a bit of an odd strat to come out, and it definitely did. It was definitely putting to the attackers on the side of Revamp's team. And still though, that hold here, that we could see an easy pick here as Ganja is holding the angle here onto the Izami that's holding the rafters. As stun grenades are going to fly up though, as we say that, Bill's going to find one. Second one's going to ring out as one refrag is able to be gotten, but now we're in 4 versus 2 with a minute 20 on the clock. There's a lot of time here, but Ganja has now taken that full control of the rafters area, as there's still going to be players down below. C4 on the board, and this bulletproof cam is going to be able to spot out those players. And as the EMP came out, that could have got the thermite charge. I'm not too sure if it did or not, but we're going to see Goatnax here coming up for the flank, trying to find the shots, cannot land those shots, as he's going to rotate down now to the bottom of red. That's why Ganja on an absolute sliver of HP, as we say that Kaelin's on the main breach, putting that pressure down, as we should be able to see some kills come here. That Mira is going to provide some attack assistance to the defenders as he finds one. That situation is going to be left to Ganja now in a 1 versus 4 situation. Low HP finds one though onto Goatnax, or not to Goatnax I should say, that was on 2, aren't you good? And it's all going to be down here on Ganja's shoulders. 39 seconds on the clock in a 1 versus 3 clutch situation. Can he win this, champ? That's the key question.
I'm doubtful on it, to be honest. He's going to announce himself to the defenders as he helps in that window into construction, and he's not looking like he's getting in a good position here as he's facing up towards cache door, and they know exactly where he is. The pop shots come through, and they do find a mark from Goatnax to the top of the red staircase, and that'll be the first round on the board for the defended side of Goatnax, and that's us up and running. Both teams on the board, 1 round apiece, and we'll hopefully head to somewhere different that isn't CCTV, because like I say, I don't think it is as good a site as what people think it is.
Thing with CCTV, it's one of those sites that got played so much that people know it so well that it's like, you know, I'm trying to think of a very common site. It's like the Aviator games for Villa.
Yeah.
It's been played so much that everyone now knows it, so it automatically becomes attacker favored, and it's just a very easy site to win if you're on the attackers and you know just as long as you're hitting those key basics, it's an attacker round, and that's just how it is. That round we did see, you know, like a little bit of an odd mirror strat coming out. But those odd mirror strats, they did catch Kaelin off guard, and it did kind of go to the benefit of the defenders. But we're going to have to see now what they can introduce here for their basement defense. As it looks like we're going to see the basic, you know, the shield there in the long corridor. Nothing unusual about what we're seeing. Everything is looking as a standard setup. There's nothing, you know, we have the Goyo canisters bottom main. Nothing unusual here.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a pretty straightforward shield. It's been placed there a lot of times, you know, they get the reinforced wall, protect you from the hatch, and you put the shield in the hallway just to prevent anyone coming down that long corridor. It's a very common shield. No one would be surprised at that. I'm surprised at the double shield play, though, coming out from Goatnax and the smoke. Well, I say that even, I just realised the smoke is barbed wire, which is a questionable choice in itself. 4 versus 5 though, as Goldust is able to find the opening pick and find Shamima. That's the Oryx dealt with, and now it's an immediate refrag as Goldust has dropped himself, and it's all just fell apart there for that roam game. But immediate refrag is at least enough to balance out a little bit, and they're still doing set up inside his site as these roamers are up inside of kitchen. Goatnax is playing a little bit of a wait patiently game inside of freezer as he awaits anyone that is going to pop through that doorway. It is opened up. Skim opens dirt, and we'll be faced with the Goyo of Aren't You Good? And Kyle now just not quite aware that there is a player so close to their vicinity just outside of the freezer doorway. Then it is, of course, Goatnax is in there, and will they check their corners? Will they remember to drone? And the drone does come in and find the mark and swings now onto the doorway. Find a little bit of damage on each other, but not enough to get any downs or any kills. But Goatnax is just going to miss out on the fact that there's a couple of players aside of Bar. Ganja not able to get in there quick enough to get that rotate cut out, and Goatnax is able to escape with their life somehow. And now, a little bit. This thing's just come to a bit more of a patience game. But look at this, Rob the Villain still on the top floor outside of the construction breach. And just waiting for anyone to come around. Sees a player, pops out, and is going to go out and gets himself a little bit of damage, but can't quite win the gunfight. And he's going to stick it though, and brings out the pistol, and is able to finish off that kill. It's a double kill on the round for Rob the Villain, and surely they're aware of that now, and they're waiting for the player to come down the main staircase, and that is exactly what they're doing. Is Kyle lies in wait for that rotate, and will just hang fire for just a minute.
Still minute 20 on the clock here as it's 4 versus 3 situation. And Rob the Villain is still upstairs in the master bedroom area. has not been dealt with yet, as Kylan is still around, as that Nook is going to be ready here with opening arms here for the player of the Rook, who should be rotating here as he falls down the hatch. Nook not able to read that Rook with the opening arms. That was expected. Still, here's a refrank. Should be coming out here as the Nook looking to take some engagement. Not going to quite find the shots as Rob the villain is going to win out that gunfight and find himself a triple in the round. In a 2 versus 1 situation, it's going to be the defenders on Red Nax's team left in a 2 versus 1 here, as it's going to be all down to Kyle to find this final 2 players, as he's going to be getting his way down blue here to take this map control. Still 40 seconds on the clock, decent amount of time, almost full HP. Can definitely make this work, but it's going to be the Vector on the side of Aren't You Good to win this round here and put the second round on the board for the defenders of Red Nax.
Yep, 2 rounds in a row for the defenders as they're able to take a couple after what was looking like not a great start. They've been able to at least get themselves into the game a little bit more, and it's been a bit of a funny one. You had the roam there from Rob the Villain that was somehow just completely missed. It was almost like they forgot that player. Now, Rob the Villain did get the first pick on the top floor, and they just left it. They just decided to leave him up there. Didn't really bother to actually try and drone him out and find him and try and kill him. They left him upstairs, and that was their detriment. He gets himself a kill on the top floor again, drops down through the hatch, and somehow the knock just misses the opportunity to get the kill, and it was just a bit of a strange round there that played out, as Robert Villain was able to have a good performance, get himself a triple kill, and essentially won that round out for the defenders, who didn't really have to do much at the end there. Now we're going to go back to Gym Bedroom though, of course, we're going to go to Gym Bedroom for the first time. We're going to see the mirror brought through, and I'm assuming that will be for some sort of extension into the logistics office. It's usually how it's played, but it doesn't seem to be the strat it is. It seems to be going around the softball inside the CCTV, and this is what I like to see in the charity tournaments. A little bit of rogue plays, a little bit of excitement, and a little bit of, let's say, stupidity. It's probably the best word to say.
Definitely a bit stupid, just running those strats that, typically shouldn't work, but because we are in a charity tournament, let's just throw, backs to the wall, try everything. Why not? There's nothing here to lose. Everything here is in for charity, and, the main goal of today is to raise as much money as we can for Ben. As we say that, so it's going to be Rob the Villain finding a beautiful headshot into gold dust. Put us on a 4-4 versus 5 within the first 20 seconds of a round. And that was an absolute beautiful shot. That mirror coming in is an absolute dividends here for the side of the defenders. And definitely an odd strat that has just came out and paid off. As we say, that Gold Nax is going to follow in a refrag. And that is going to be the player of Kylan to find that frag. And that was actually a long angle from the window, if I do recall.
Massive window, yeah, it was here.
What a beautiful shot coming out there from Kylan. I would say that though. 4 versus 4, minute 20 on the clock, or minute 20 or so on the clock.
2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but your Discord quality is very, very bad. So,
okay, right, okay. Yeah, there's not much you can do about it. It's just Discord. It's a little bit. I'll change the stream after this and see if we can get something a bit better so you can see a little bit better. But Ganja though certainly sees Rob the Villain and finds him inside of CCTV, but he's going to be a little bit worse for wear. Just on side for Rafters here the now, just waiting for an opportunity to get through into CCTV, and the call will come through from his teammates that he can push at some point. Does get the information on the Mozzie inside the cache, and the player will drop down through the hatch as well to go for the rotate round, and that is of course the mute that's doing that. Aren't You Good is down below. He's popped the C4 up in the free place position, but Ganja's going to be downed anyway. It doesn't really matter. Shamim was able to find that kill, but is not aware that there's no one coming from that side. There's 2 members over here, so this is an opportunity for the attackers to get in towards the site and perform that execute while the other 2 are off site. Blues is the only one there, has the Solus, so is able to spot out these drones as they send them in. Kyle drops onto the balcony now to push through on the construction breach that is opened up. Blues was going to find Skim, and that is a big pick there to shut down the Flores. It was sending in some of those drones just to be a little bit of a nuisance, and Kaelin now on the only one on that side, and they've got to split up a little bit here, the attackers, as they now have to try and funnel in through these doorways and windows. But Kyle though comes out on top versus Shamima, takes a little bit damage to the kneecaps, but is able to get out in a pretty decent situation, moving through towards going up to that hatch and seeing if they can come from that side. But Aren't You Good's going to be dropped here because Kyle's even going to come through from the hatch somehow, and they're able to find that kill, and I'm not actually sure where they found that. Blues inside the logistics office now has everything to do, and this is what I said about the other 2 players being off of the site and leaving Blues on his lonesome. And if they were going to be picked off, or they were going to go direct to site. That's just where it could be an issue. Now they have the information on where Blues is. They know they're in that hallway and the swing does come, but not able to land any shots. Not enough anyway to slow Kale and pushes through. But 1 versus 1 as Kale goes for the pinch, but isn't able to land the shots. The diffuser's on the ground. They've seen each other spotted, but Blues comes out on top. The SMG-11 is faster and harder. It hits right in the skull of Kyle there, and that's it. Done. Over. Another round on the board for the defenders.
Bringing us to a 3-1 scoreline as we go. Only 2 more rounds left on the side of Rednax's defense, and then they'll move to the attack. And this is when the attack happens, we should see some interesting plays, as we have seen some very unorthodox mirror strategies coming out here from Rob the Villain. And it's just, you know, it's nice to see. It's definitely nice to see in this situation. And we're seeing Goatnax on the Vigil. Are we sensing a Boss G, Sham? Oh,
Yeah,
I think
we
we are.
We are
finally
come out
seeing
at some point. We knew it was going to happen. We knew that there would be a Boss G that would make an appearance, brought out with a 1.5. And you know, we played some ranked games last night, and the Boss G was doing well with the 1.5. It's a fun gun to use.
Boss G was definitely the play last night for us and tonight, and we've seen Ben in the past use the Boss G religiously, constantly using that Boss G, and has been an absolute menace using the Boss G as well. So hopefully we can see Goatnax kind of replicating some of those menace plays here. But if we say that, we're going to see the unorthodox mirror on that main breach again, as it has worked out almost every single round. It's put some kind of confusion into defenders, or into the attackers I should say, as we might see a spawn peek here coming out from Goatnax as he is Boss G in hand. And this finds the elbow of one, not quite able to land that shot. But unfortunate, Boss G going to run back up to the rafters, and we could see actually a Boss G holding rafters potentially.
Dropping down, Smith down to the bottom floor. Rob the Villain, of course, is going to get started with this round here. Finds another kill, and somehow he's just, you know, a nuisance. He goes for a reinforcement on the main breach after it's been impacted off. It's unbelievable stuff here as Goatnax now dropping down to secret just to try and find anyone that's on that window and see if he can catch them out. Not opting to go out the window just yet, as they know that they're in that position. Kyle pops down the Claymore, so that will at least stop Goatnax, as he'll hear that one. He'll have the sound cue that has happened. The breach has been opened inside of Garage. Kale's able to swing from the breach again upstairs and finds Rob the Villain this time, and finds a little bit of a pepper in himself as he gets a little bit of return fire coming from the Garage rafters. Goatnax now going for the swing, but not able to land any shots. Unfortunately for him, Skim comes out on top, and that's a 4 versus 3 situation established in favour of the attackers, and now they can start to think about this execute and start to get themselves in a position to get this round won.
Definitely that Frost holding the red stairs though, and the HP count is definitely here on favour of the side of Goatnax's team. As yet, there is only 3 players, but there's also 2 players on the side of Revamp's team that are also just 1 shot. So definitely could be a very easy round here for the defenders to win. All they have to do is hold out the angles. Still at minute 35 on the clock, but that Garrett Rafters control is still in the hands of Goatnax. And that doesn't look like it's been even pressured anyway at all, as the construction wall is going to get popped open. There's going to be a player sitting on that CCTV window, but as we see that the players are so close to each other, no one knows they're that close, as Arya could just get wall banged here. I don't think they're really aware of each other. As we say that, Dizami is going to be made aware of the Ace's location from just a few sprays to the wall, to the barricade. But that construction control now is in full hands here on the side of Revamp's team, as it looks to try and get some pressure going here, but Shamim is going to take an absolute ton of damage from playing on those red stairs. And a minute on the clock to go, as not much is happening. It's a bit of a stalemate here, as the construction control is going to be coming out into a bit of pressure here, as we're going to see another Boss G actually on this side of the attackers. Would have been nice to see a bit of Boss G action between the 2 players. As we say, that's going to be the player of, that was Aren't You Good to find one onto the attackers in a 3 versus 2 situation. As we say that, another one's going to be found, and it's now going to be down to the final dying breath of the round, as the Boss G is going to find one. And here we go. This is where the round gets interesting. 30 seconds on the clock. All the beans here in the bag to be played for, as Kyle's on a sliver of HP. Also the same with Gold Dust. Shamima not looking too good himself, but it's also going to be 20 seconds on the clock. The defenders are just going to play here into the attackers' angles, as the players are going to start pushing in here to the breach. Oryx is taking some damage, finds the headshot onto one, looking to go for the second here potentially, but the last player is going to be on the CC window, jumps in and going, that's going to be the headshot found from the Oryx, once again putting another round onto the side for Rednax.
Yeah, they just decided to funnel in the doorway there. Didn't really have a choice, to be honest. They had to go for it. They'd used the thermite charges, so they didn't really have much option. But it was an interesting choice for the the Thatcher, just to send it through cache and not really pay attention. And it was definitely a choice. The Oryx comes out on top in that situation. Of course, shoots him straight in the back of the skull, and the defenders get another round. And it's looking like a defender-sided club so far. We're going back to Church and Arsenal, and it looks like, of course, Rob the Villain's going to take that main staple, which is, of course, the Mira. Now, I'm interested so much to see where this is going to be going. I'm definitely curious as to where he's going to pop the Miras on the bottom floor, because, of course, we've seen quite a few rogue Miras, and I can see them going off-site, which is maybe the play. We'll find out certainly in a second. As, of course, the Oryx is in the hand of Shamima this time, and they'll be moving around the map and being a nuisance to these attackers as they try to get through and get themselves onto this round. And I think Rob is going to go for a little bit of a bar Mira.
Definitely, honestly, Rob has been bringing out the meme strats here, and they're working. What can we say? There's no one that can turn, what Rob is doing down. They're working out well. He's been able to find the first pick nearly every round so far by running those, unorthodox mirror strategies. Again, the bar mirror here is not the most unusual mirror to ever see. It is actually used quite often in NA play. So it'll be interesting to see as Goatnax is going for the spawn peak here with the Boss G once again. No one looking to run into his crosshairs as he almost misses the hairs on one of them, but not going to be able to quite land those shots, as the Boss G is just not going to meet its maker yet, as we have only seen one Boss G kill in this game. With some shots coming further through the barricade, Goatnax is going to be made aware as the C75 in hand, going to drop the oil pit, rotate himself back down to site, where he's going to be brought back into his safe haven. And it's all going to be a stalemate on the round. Rob the Villain hasn't got his first pick by now, which is quite unusual for Rob, as he's just, running a more simple mirror strategy, not going to go for the unorthodox ones again, as Rednax almost landing the headshot there onto Kyle, but Kyle's going to be a little bit faster on that trigger and going to pull that shot, taking Goatnax down in a 4 versus 5 with still 2 minutes left on the clock. Sham, a lot of time here for the attackers to work with.
Yeah, loads and loads of time. There's a plethora of opportunity for them to at least start getting attacking in this at some point, because they're not really doing much. They're just kind of lurking around in the middle of the map. They haven't even realised, baby, that there was a mirror inside a bar. Like, they've not got that far yet. The Kaelin now has droned it in, and Rob's decided to give it up at least. None of the hatches are reinforced. Darren You Good is able to find the kill onto Skim at the same time as Ganja is able to find the blues, and I think they've just decided to drop the stock hatch there. Not quite the greatest decision there when you've got a couple of players lurking inside a blue, and it's almost like they gathered information and just waited too long to actually use it. And now the attackers are not in the greatest situation. They're a 4-3 split now, and it's not looking great as Kaelin holds onto the stock hatch still, looking for an opportunity to drop. The Mira has been flushed out of bar, so there's no one upstairs anymore. All 4 members of the defense are on that bottom floor. The drones are coming through onto the main stairs to gather that information to get them down to the bottom floor. Eventually they will arrive, and it's Mira found at the bottom of that main stairs area. Goldust opening up some angles to try and find anyone that could be lurking on the other side of these reverse angles, and it's spotted out a little bit. The Jackal on side, of course the PDW is a pretty decent gun, 1.5, and the extended barrel has made it a pretty decent pick. I don't know if it's quite as good as the AR though. I don't know how you feel about that.
Honestly, since I didn't see anywhere the buff, as the way the Jackal AR got nerfed quite a while ago, down to 25 rounds, and then this season came back up to 31. As we said, that Rob the Villain's going to find the headshot onto Goldust, and that's going to be the Jackal falling at the bottom of that main stairs. As we're now 4 versus 1 situation, as it's going to be Rob the Villain taking some shots here onto the player on the main stairs. Not going to be able to quite find the shots, using the reverse angles here onto the Captain. Finds the shots and finds the headshot, sending him into the Gulag, and that is going to be a 5-1 split here in favour of Goatnax's team.
I don't know if you spotted that. Here a Mira on the church window in reverse, on the church breach.
Facing into church.
Facing into church. Yeah. Questionable choices, but it seems to be working. Rob the Villain is the top fragger currently on, I think, 10 kills now, if I check the scoreboard. Yeah, 10 kills and 4 deaths. It's unbelievable stuff. Of course, going to bring on Claz, Cali, the KB. It's the stuff of dreams. You're never really going to see this kind of stuff usually in a comp game. But it's all in the name of charity. It's all for fun. It's all for celebration. And yeah, we're going to be bringing quite a few Boss Gs as well. So we're going to see Boss G in the hands of... I'm assuming they're going to see a Boss G. Obviously, can't see the kit just yet. But the KB is there. The Vigil's not being brought on the other side. But I'm assuming we'll see some Boss G played as well. Of course, we keep mentioning the Boss G. It was something that was a staple of Crow Gremlin's plays. And it was something that he did like to play quite a lot, and played it really well as well, surprisingly. And that's why everyone wants to play it. So that's why you'll see quite a lot of them. And whether or not it's worked in the favour of these teams today is much to be desired. But we'll certainly see if someone can channel the skills that Ben showed us. See if they can show us some exciting plays with it.
Yeah, we'd love to see, you know, and actually want to see the Ying being played.
Yeah.
If, you know, as we mentioned the Boss G, you know, we've mentioned Boss G quite often, but the Ying is also one of Ben's staple operators that was in the arsenal quite often. So we're going to definitely see quite some plays here being brought out in Ben's memoriam. As we say that, though, we could see in the Thermite Ying breach push. As we say that, that is what's going to happen here, but that's going to be it's going to be Blues taken down. There's going to be a 4 versus 3 situation here, as it's going to be Goatnax here with the Ying shotgun, quite an unusual pick. But as we said, the Jaeger's going to find Goatnax, and it's all going to be left down to a 4 versus 2 situation, as one player is going to be on that breach repel, and it's going to be actually Shamima with the Boss G, as we have mentioned Boss G quite a few times. And no one has quite died to the Boss G, as we see that beautiful headshot come there from Shamima with the Boss G in a 4 versus 3 situation, being able to level up that man count just a little bit more, as it's going to be there Kali and Dokubi left in this 3 versus 2 situation. Still quite a lot of time on the clock, but just under 2 minutes to go. And, you know, it's all the beans to be played for, as I have mentioned before. And again, this is all just in the name of fun. Hopefully we get to see some more Boss G kills, like the one that Shamima showed us there, showing off a beautiful kill in Ben's memorial.
Yeah, nice shot. Sitting in the head of the Jaeger who's holding behind the bomb chassis. It's a straightforward P-fire as well, because they knew that information would have been fed back from Goatnax, who died to that. They knew exactly where they were playing behind that bomb chassis, so they just had to pop up there and get the kill. Roblo, not quite as impactful on attack. Not, you know, you take the Amir away from him and it seems to have fallen a little bit short with the glass pick. It's not been the greatest. Of course, we still have the Kali on side, and Aren't You Good is the one that has that, and they'll know that. Of course, the Kali is a pretty loud operator, pretty loud gun, but look at this, Shamima just wanders into sight, but doesn't quite get the kill, as Ganja's aware of it and pops out the window to try and get the second inside the construction, but it's a 1 versus 2, so Aren't You Good is able to find that, but Kyle's on the coverage, finds the kill from the top of the red staircase, and that is all she wrote for the defenders in that round. And it looks like we are seeing a defender-sided club today, and 5-2 on Clubhouse now is a split. It's
a very unusually defender-heavy Clubhouse. It's not something that we typically see all that often, which is, you know, it's nice to see a bit of a swap-up. It's definitely lovely to see every now and then. Hopefully we're going to see Gold Dust here on the Boss G. Vigil is being played. Who knows? As we see the Nook being brought out as well. That Nook can cause an absolute havoc for a defense-sided team. It's going to be definitely interesting to see. As we mentioned, Goldust is bringing that Boss G. And again, you know, we're going to see Church Arts being brought out here, which is definitely the stronger of the sites here on the side of Clubhouse. It's one of the sites that's not played as much as, you know, CCTV, but as we mentioned, CCTV is just one of those sites that's just been played so heavily. The attackers now have, you know, the highest win rate percentage. I know it's not being seen here in this game, as this game is just going very heavily into the defense's side, but definitely Church Arsenal is one of the harder harder attacking rounds to win.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's one of those ones that's pretty tricky, but we'll see a couple of opportunities for them to do that, because of course they have a Boss G on side here, Vigil up on the top floor, and Solus as well. I think Solus was played pretty well in the last round, pretty decent, been able to gather that information, and Goldust is the one that has the Boss G in hand up on the top floor towards CCTV, and will look to cause a little bit of a nuisance. There's quite a bit of roamers happening here. Those Kyle's on the top floor with a Rook trying to find any semblance of a spawn peak, but doesn't find anything as of yet. Shamima now down towards the dirt tunnel is able to... Wow, a Boss G trade is going to happen here. Well, I say Boss G, but it's a shotgun on the other side as well. Finds Goatnax, but Goldust is down for the count and not quite out of the round as of yet. As the push did come through dirt, and it looks like Aren't You Good's inside the site, and though is able to find himself to down the kill, and 4 versus 2 now as Skim is dropped off the board. Ganja and Kyle left with all to do, but the one of them is off site, and the red ping does come through inside of stock. That's going to alarm the player that's moved towards the AK rack. Now Ganja is the player that's down there, though. He tries to use the impact to try and get the better of Aren't You Good, but a little bit of a crouch spam there just to show that they were coming out on top. Kyle though is inside a memorial, and there's so much utility being thrown at him that it's just a situation that doesn't look likely they can get out of. Doesn't know which way to look, as there's so many players just streaming in to sight, and the attackers of Goatnax team are able to take that round.
Take us now onto the beautiful match point, where we could see this matchup coming to a very, very quick end, as it's a 7-2 win, and we have not been casting for that long. I want to see a bit of an overtime for the first match, you know? Not ending in such a quick fashion. Yeah. I want to see the Ying though being played though, coming out here from Shamima, And Glaz, the Finka, the Ying, who's going to bring that Dokkaebi? Who's going to be the person to choose to swap to the Dokkaebi? Might be Blues, or it could be Goatnax, who knows? But we're not going to see a Boss G on the defense, as they have looked just to swap off of that completely. Looking to go for a Church defense once again. And the attackers took that very convincing last round. For one of the harder sites for the attackers to try and win, they took that in such a convincing fashion.
Yeah, the defense just tried to do too much of a roam, gave a little bit too much to the attackers, and they just sent it down dirt, and then that was pretty much it, to be honest. And it was all over. Pretty straightforward stuff on that attack there, though this time they're going to go for a little bit of a roam. This time it's in the hands of an Oryx, and Kyle is that person that is in charge of wielding the operator, reinforcing some of these hatches to make sure that no one can just drop down through. And it's interesting that they decided to do that now. It's a little bit late, it's match point, and I think things are just running away a little bit here. Is of course match point for the attacking side as the Ying is played, the Finka, the Glaz. It's very much in your face type style that they're going to be going for here, as Rob the Villain hasn't quite been able to have the best second half, the wonderful half on the Mira, but now that there's no opportunity to wield a Vector, they're not going to be able to do that. But look at the push and the rush that's came through in towards Kitchen, the shotgun in hand there for the sledge, and Rob the Villain's going to be dropped at Skim. This time he's on the other side of a Vector, and he will drop to that as Gonax takes a little bit of damage through the vertical play. Aren't you good down the main staircase here? They're trying to find an avenue in towards that main breach, and does find so. Just a little bit of damage done onto Goldust, but he's a lot worse for wear. The Finka nanobites there coming in clutch a little bit, I think. He's 1 HP, and he had it active. He had the adrenal boost active, and that's probably saved his life in that situation. Kyle's somehow been able to get back to site and not really having to do much roaming, but takes a bit of damage from the nade that does come through from the top floor. As Goatnax is able to get the down onto Kyle eventually, but there's a player there to get the revive. They can't quite spot where the player is, doesn't realise that the revive is going off right below them, and Ganja and Kyle are able to escape that situation somehow with both their lives intact, but Shamima's dropped the hatch somehow on the other side, and into the side of Arsenal through the stock hatch inside the Arsenal room now, all the way through into Armory, and now it's looking like they're going to get all the way up. But look at this, they've got so much control, they're actually quite surprised to actually get this far in. Sees the player inside the church, and that'll give the information back to the player, and actually doesn't even realise that there's people inside the stock as well. So Shamima is inside the site. So much information, so much control, but there's little to do with it. Doesn't realise there's a player on the right, and could go right through and is shot straight in the back from Skim, who just wasn't spotted behind the shield, as Kaelin's able to find Aren't You Good at the same time, and Kyle now with another one, and Goatnax is in a 1 versus 4 situation. They had the full sight, they had the full control, and they just gave it up. Defenders won the round. What happened?
The attackers were just caught sleeping in that situation, as the full side control was on play, but there was just nothing there. No diffuser was stuck, and the defenders were able just to, in what was such an unwinnable situation, come back with, just out of nowhere, and like a mysterious comeback, and just take the round directly out of the hands of Rednax's team. And it was just blinding on what happened in that round. It should have been gone to the attackers, and we should be already just finished this matchup.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where you just end up with a little bit too much control too early, and you don't really know what to do with it. Just got in towards Arsenal, and then they were like, oh wow, okay, wait a minute, I've got the entire site. They ran around there, made so much noise, the Yang, and nothing. No one replied at all, and it was almost like, what do I do? Wait a minute, I'm expecting a gunfight, and no one took a gunfight with them, and eventually they died because they go through a rotate and don't realise there's someone just sitting in the corner. And insanity, crazy stuff, but we're going to be seeing a defense on CCTV this time, and there got to be a couple of operators that are surprising. Of course, seeing the Oryx pick has been a mainstay. It's been a pretty big staple, to be honest, in the last few weeks, and this season for some reason Oryx seems to be getting a lot of play. I don't know what it is that's changed enough. Maybe the extended barrel was enough to do that, but I don't know if that's the case, really. I mean, certainly with this situation they have, with this round anyway, they have a silencer on it, so it's not that for this person anyway. And holding on towards Rafters, Goldust is going to be up there as well, alongside Ganja, and that's exactly what they're going to do, play together and see if they can hold onto this side of the map.
Again, 2 Boss Gs in play. We love to see it. We're not going to see the Ying being played this time, but it looks like, again, we could see a main breach push here, though, as that wall is just going to get breached open. There's nothing there to stop it. No one has decided to bring anything, but the Boss G is going to almost find one, as Goldust is going to take a lot of damage in that engagement. Still, though, they look and find that player, not able to quite find it. Is that a double kill coming out here from a shotgun inside? That is, Goatnax finds a double kill, is able to bring it to a 4 versus 2 situation, as it's going to be the Boss G to try and take him down. As we say that, the Jaeger It's going to find one, and it's going to be 3 versus 2 situation. Still 2 minutes on the clock here. Quite a lot of time to be used here for the defenders, but the attackers have the slightly upper hand here, as Shamima is going to be using these garage head holds just to see if he can find 1 or 2 of the remaining players. It's going to be a player playing top right close to that wall. I don't think they're quite aware of that player, the Jaeger, that's going to be sitting so tight. That Frostmat there could give away that position, but it's just going to be the Jaeger out here of Galen, just to hold the angle as he's going to lose his life. And a double kill here coming out from the sledge. And that's going to be all she wrote here for the side of GoldNexus team as they take map number 1 in our best of 1 in a 7-3 fashion.
Yep, they go through to the next round, and we'll get started with that match just shortly. But before we do that, we will go to a brief break. So if you want to go away and get yourself a drink, some refreshments, whatever it is, we will be continuing with the next game just shortly. We will keep you in tune in the chat and whatnot, but until then, we go and have a little bit of a break, and we will see you shortly.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the second game that we'll be having today. We'll be returning back to seeing one of the ESA staff members playing, which is Rednax on the, well, say Rednax, he's goes by Goatnax depending on how he feels. But he's playing and he's in the second round now, so he's been able to get through, and he's up against J-Binds. And of course we don't really know the team's name, it's just named after the team captain, so Team J-Binds is the team that they're playing. They will face off in the semi-finals versus Team Klein should they win, basically. Whoever wins will face off against them in the semi-final. But for now, we're going to Cafe Dostoyevsky. We have Team J-Binds versus Rednax. And the bans are just happening right now in the background. You can see Jackal gone away, Flores. Not surprised that the Jackal is Cafe Dostoyevsky, so it's quite a bit of a roam game that people put in on that particular map. So, not surprised to see the Jackal go. I don't think the Flores one is a surprising one too much, just because there is quite a few of these shields that you want to try and get rid of. You know, there's commonly one played inside the VIP, sometimes in Bakery, and then on that top floor as well, in that famous pixel spot inside of the white corridor towards the cigar lounge, and that's usually what's played there. So Flores is brought usually for that, so no surprise that is banned away. Izami, another one that I don't think anyone will be surprised on when it comes to the bans on Cafe Dostoyevsky, because of the plays inside the cigar lounge. There's so many opportunities for this to be played in terms of the keyboard barriers can be placed on the desks, they can be placed on the seats, they can cut line of sights from the windows, from the doorways. It's a bit of a nuisance to play against when it comes to cigar lounge. So not surprised to see Izami go in the Mira as well, just to round out the ban phase. So Rob's been nerfed, is what's happened.
Essentially so. They take away Rob's mirror, and Rob is now going to be definitely struggling. But again, Goyo is still on the board, so there is a vector that he can play if he does feel like he wants to. But again, we're going to see Shamima potentially bringing out that boss G, as we have mentioned several times at this point.
Yeah, for those of you that just came back to the chat or have not been in the chat, of course, this is in memory of our good friend Ben Hope, who sadly lost his life in the last few weeks. I'm not 100% sure when that was, but yeah, commonly known as Crow Gremlin. So well known in the Siege community, played for teams like Gendolis, played for, I think, runner-up in quite a few different leagues as well. Runner-up in Shadow League, was runner-up as well in Lipsis League when I ran it. So well known. I've got a couple of clips as well that I'll certainly share after the game as well, so that everyone can at least get on par with what type of play Ben used to play. And he was definitely a player that brought quite a bit of chaos to the team, and that's why people seem to play or want to play the boss Gs, because he was known to play the boss Gs. He was known to play the Yings and those kind of rogue operators. I mean, I've got a clip of him getting a 4K on the CCTV site on Club with Amaru. So I mean, it's pretty wild stuff. But anyway, back to the game at hand. We're going to Cafe Dostoyevsky, of course, and the attackers are getting started on this east side take, and they're just looking to put a little bit of pressure on that white corridor at this moment in time.
We'll see the site of Barcock being the first played site, as again, that is very typical. As we say that though, that's going to be Aren't You Good, find them one onto the J-Binds. That's going to be the opening pick of this matchup. As we say that, second one's going to be found as a double coming in here for Aren't You Good. But as we say that, double frag is going to be gained as it's going to be the Solus and the Jaeger finding one. And it's going to be a refrag from the Jaeger here finding the Glass is going to find once more in the triple kill, and it's now all going to be left in a 2 versus 1 situation here, as all going to be down to Eternal here to try and find Rob and Aren't You Good. Rob looking a bit better here, as you know, coming in second half of last game, beautiful headshot there coming out onto Rob, and that's all is coming in absolute clutch here. And it's all going to be down to here, Aren't You Good versus Eternal in a 1 versus 1 situation. Still a minute 40 on the clock, and it's in a 1 versus 1, so this round has gone extremely quick and in a very fast paced sense. But still, that diffuser is still on the ground and it is cold and it will be picked up, but Assaults will see that plant if it does go down. So that is definitely what the play is going to be here, as they're going to be aware of the plant going down. But that is going on the bar, so it won't be caught. It's on the bar, Sham. It's on the bar. It won't be caught, and it's going to be now in a 1 versus 1 situation, post plant situation. This should be all she wrote here for Aren't You Good. They should be able to take this round, but it'll take a very, very solid round here coming out from the Solus if they do want to take this round back into their hands. 28 seconds left on this diffuser, and it's just Aren't You Good pushing himself further and further out of the site. It's not looking too good here, as that's going to be the down and the knock. That diffuser is going to get defused, and that's going to be round number 1, going straight to the team of J-Binds.
Beautifully played when it comes to the Solus there. I've been dying to see the Solus used correctly, because the Solus has been banned away so much throughout the ESA Cup's regular season that we haven't really seen her and been impactful at all. And then when she has been played, people have really just used it early on to get rid of drones. That's it. They haven't really got the full potential of her gadget when it comes to being able to spot those diffusers, being able to spot the Takebe cams you've seen them there, being able to spot everything with any form of electricity passing through it that can be spotted through the floorway. And you've seen it, being able to spot where the diffuser was going down, so had that information, obviously just was able to do it on the bar, so not able to get any shots onto the player, but at least they had the information directly right away that they knew where the diffuse was going down, they knew where to approach the site from, and it worked out perfectly. Eternal played that beautifully, got himself a 3k, found the vertical kill as well in the middle of all that, and the defenders are able to win that one out after what was a pretty quick rush. We missed it. The Amaru sent it in through Heaven window, and that's where most of the kills came from. But good defense there from Eternal.
Definitely, and a great way to come back into a round. You know, your 3-5, your man count is completely down. And like as we saw, you mentioned the rush. It was a 1v1 with a minute 40 on the clock. It's something quite uncommon to see. Definitely around going that such a high pace, and especially on Cafe. Cafe is generally the slower, methodical kind of maps, but to see it going that such a quick of a pace, it's definitely quite an unusual one to see.
You say that, of course we're going to see another Amaru coming through, and this time it's in the hands of Solo, and they've got the top floor imminently is what they'll be doing. You know, no spawn peaks as of such at the moment. J-Binds is the one to go for that though, and Small Bakery, and it's Aren't You Good to come out on top. Just tried to be a little bit cheeky on that window and tried to catch anyone coming around the corner, but caught looking the wrong way as Aren't You Good finds that kill. And look how quick they are. They're already inside the coat check. It's another kill for Goatnax, and that is one drop for the defense. 5 versus 3 scenario, but Eternal lurks on the staircase, and now the push will come from him as he goes down the staircase, knows that there's a drone out there, it will be pinged, and doesn't quite know the positioning of the player inside of coat check. There's 2 members inside of sight, but where does Solo enter from? He's in the middle floor, knows that there's going to be a player on the red staircase, tries to go for the pinch, and Eternal will be pinched from below at the same time, but eventually he's dropped just by Solo on the sheer brute force, as there's now a 1 versus 3 situation. Nerds left with it all to do. The final pick though, Shamima swings the doorway, gets the final kill, the Ayana comes out on top, and that's all she wrote for that attack. And yeah, pretty much steamrolled them there.
Yeah, that round was finished at exactly 2 minutes and 1 second on the timer. Less than a minute in, and the attackers had it down to a 5 versus 1, which is just some incredible stuff, because that is, for a Cafe, as I've mentioned before, it's a slow, it's a methodical kind of map. And for, you know, the control just to be gained so quickly, and the attackers just absolutely, as you said, steamrolling through the defenders. It was just crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward. They just ran right through the coat check, through reception, got himself a couple of kills, and just took the momentum straight through the double doors, and not really any utility play, and you know, no hard breach at all, or anything even of the sorts. And it seems as though, I think the counter to this, in my opinion, is just a turtle strat. Everybody just chill out. just let them play in it, because they don't have the utility. They don't have anything. They are not able to take Bakery from you. They can't really do that because they don't have anything to do. They have a couple of nades and maybe a couple of flashes here and there. So just pop some Jaeger devices, pop somebody behind that bar and just hold it. No problem. Mute that one, mute that wall off because you don't have hard breach and you're going to be safe to hold Bakery the entire time. Of course, Bakery famous for not having that vertical play. The rest of Cafe does. So when you're moving through kitchen, you are under a lot of pressure. But instead, they're going to go for a little bit of a roam game, and it looks as though Eternal is the one that will tease us with that. But instead, just drops back down to reception. Instead, 4 members on that floor, and we do have 1 on the top. And guess who it is? It's an Oryx of Nerds who's hopped right out the window and right back in. Then wasn't able to find anybody. Not the greatest one peak you'll ever see.
Not the greatest, but again, the attempt was there. It could have got a kill, but it didn't. Asol was going to go straight through into the dining window, potentially. That is what the look is going to be, as they're just going to go hard pushing into this dining here. And this hatch is going to get open. It's going to be a straight on freezer drop here coming out from the side of Goat Next team. But they're not aware of Nerds with the Works. It's just lurking in the background.
Get moving! Oh my word, come on! Oh, come on,
No.
come on! Allez,
No.
allez, allez! Aren't you good's dead now? Come on, Nerds, get a move on, my friend! Get down that hatch now! There's someone holding on to it now, and the moment has passed. The players are just falling all over the place. Nerds gets a team kill by accident, finds Solo, and it's eventually, after what was quite a bit of a lurk, a little bit. Just didn't quite react in time. I don't think the Shamima though was inside the site, feeling the pressure though. They have the site control, and Nerds and Meliodas and a sticky situation outside of the bar door there, just waiting for any swing that could come from Shamima. But where's the diffuser? The diffuser must be down somewhere. It's on the bomb chassis, so I don't know why Shamima's got himself out of the site, and I don't know if that's the greatest choice in terms of going all the way right round. And now he's going to go back into prep towards the other side and goes all the way south of the site. Does he know the diffuser's inside the site? I don't think he knows that. And Nerds has now dropped down the hatch, and now they have the option to go up into dining, and they can go from the hatch. Nerds surely is going to hear that sound cue, at least that there's somewhere on that rappel. And opts to just drop through into kitchen service, knows that they will try to drop the hatch. Shamima is going to drone out a little bit, and they still seem to be trying to go for this. There's only, 1 HP, so it is a bit of a dream. If the swing comes in though, Nerds will surely know that that's happened. Meliodas came across with the pinch as well onto the freezer door, and they have the information, but the rotates came through, and Shamima's all the way down to the brown staircase, but he's going to be a little bit too late to get into that double door as it is sealed off to him as you're not able to get in there. Opens up a little bit of a sliver of that barricade just to try and spot anyone that's moving around inside the kitchen. Nerds knows that the push could come from prep at the same time. Meliodas on this doorway, and there's only 3 avenues for Shamima to get in to the site. Prep, the double door, and freezer hatch, and Nerds is the one that's lurking outside a prep. Surely has heard the player come in. No, what headset have you got on, Nerds, my friend? But it's enough to get the kill inside of kitchen. Hears them a little bit late. I think he maybe just spotted them, sees the head there, and gets them inside of the kitchen service area, and that will be a round on the board for the defense. That's 2 rounds to the 1 of the attack, and things are starting to heat up a little bit on Cafe Dostoyevsky.
Things are getting chaotic. That round, Nerds just holding, just holding back, just was not wanting to reveal that position whatsoever. And it was, that round could have gone either way, as we did see a team kill and everything come out, but it was just unsure what Shamima was doing, as the diffuser was, cold by the chassis of the bomb. And he just ignored the bomb that was down there. He just, just didn't want to pay heat to that there, and, it was quite an interesting choice to ignore the diffuser, as there was some members completely off his site. He could have easily probably got the diffuser down if he did want to, but that was not going to be the play, especially with 1 HP in a dream. It's not a very winnable position regardless if you're in a post plant or not, so he was just looking to go for those 2 frags and try to win the round off gunfights, but that was not going to be what the play was.
Yeah, I mean, it was a strange one. For me, I probably would have went and tried to grab that diffuser and just take it in deep kitchen towards prep side, because there was no one over there. But don't you had Nerds on the hatch though, but we've seen Nerds that doesn't quite have the quickest reaction. Took so long to react to the fact that they were rushing from that dining hatch, and just took so long. Let them do it. Let them, let the chaos ensue. Luckily, they won the round out. They just happened to have enough man count at the end, and the things will be a little bit quieter on this one. No early spawn peaks. There is one teased inside of Cigar Lounge, but Rob the Villain is going to try and bring the glass. And he's brought the glass every single round he's been on attack, on both the last map on Clubhouse and on this map in Cafe Dostoyevsky. So It seems as though he wants to play Glaz. He's excited about playing Glaz, and the yellow pings are coming out to try and point Shamima in the right direction. They want window to go through, and it looks as though it will be the double window in towards that cave area, but not yet, as Eternal is the one that's lurking around that bed staircase, and there's quite a bit of a roam game. The site is actually clear. It's one of those rare situations where if the blue team of Goatnax actually did decide to do a rush through the skylight, like what I was expecting to see, then they probably would have profited from that. 5 versus 4 solo finds J-Binds, and that's the first one to drop from the defenders. That was inside the cocktail lounges. Goatnax is down on the bottom floor, pushing up the reading room staircase. Of course, why not? The most aggressive player on your team is going to be the Kali. Let's just do that. Flashed by his teammate though, so we'll be slowed down a little bit. And now, I'm not 100% sure how to say that name, so we're just going to go FW, and holding on to a white staircase is not going to be the easiest feat, as Solo is lurking on that window, and the boss G will find its mark inside the servers. Nerds now and Melodus left in a 2 versus 5 situation, but they've been here before. They were able to at least bring it back the last time. It wasn't a 2 versus 5, not quite as many members left alive for the attack as what there is now, but this time they're able to at least get one, and Rob the Villano comes out on top versus Melodus inside of red staircase, and now the push comes through towards the cigar shop, but knows the rotate could come from Nerds, and it's aren't you good to find that rotate towards the white corridor of Nerds. Actually just popped through into Freezer and got himself killed, and that is the second round on the board for the attack.
One thing I'd like to mention, any of the rounds that have been won by either side have either been won in a absolute landslide of a position. As you know, the only round that doesn't really fall under that exact kind of heading would be the round, you know, when they were down in the kitchen and Nurs just didn't want to react to all the players sending it down the hatch. That's probably the only round that didn't follow that. Yeah. But if we saw it in round number 1, it was just a rush through the hatch. It was absolute dominance. Then the dominance was just flipped on its head. Every round has had a level of dominance to it, essentially. And as we saw that round, Solo coming out with the boss G, finding, I think it was it 2 or 3 frags to the boss G?
2.
And then, you know, Rob getting aggressive with the glass. You love to see it. It's, you know, some amazing gameplay that we're getting to witness here today, Sham.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty exciting. I've seen quite a few operators chosen that you wouldn't normally see in comp in a way. Quite a lot of Maru play as well. And if there's going to be a map that you're going to see a lot of Maru play, it will be Cafe or Scarce, because it's been passed around a couple of times. Solos had a go on it, Shamima now having a go on the Maru, and we've seen the Glass as well, which Rob just is absolutely obsessed with the Glass. And I don't even think he's ever once really used it as a Glass. I think he's using it as an entry most of the time. And it's not been the greatest, you know, it wasn't great at all in club. But he's been having a little bit of fun on Cafe so far. Run out comes from that side, and it's Rob to try and find the head of the Oryx, and doesn't quite find anything as FW is able to get himself back to reading and head up towards the top floor now to roam a little bit upstairs. Well, I say roam, but the site is upstairs on the top floor. There's 3 members up there. Shamima makes her way to the roof, and opts not to go in any windows, and the hatches are now open. They now have the avenue of attack established, and that's exactly what they're going to go for. As if the hatch play seems to be the angle that they're going to go for, and the push that we want to come from. Shamima has his drum though. Just going from bar and trying to get some information, trying to gather as much as possible. Eternal's downstairs, of course, and just going to be a bit of a nuisance. And the Gemini clone comes through the hatch just to try and gather more information. It's just info. Seem to just be. This is a bit slower than what we usually see from the attackers, to be honest. They've got an Axis team, and that's exactly what they're going to try and do. Nades teased, and now eventually it seems as though they're going to go for that push towards Cocktail.
Definitely, I want to see a Skylight drop at some point in this matchup, but I don't think we're going to really see that yet, as an Nade's going to fly out. Not going to do any damage, as it's energy good just on a very low HP, and Eternal is going to be lurking down below. Eternal, you need to deal with him. He is absolute menace on that Solus, as we've seen round, I think it was round number 1, where it was won off directly the back of the Solus. Letting the Solus kind of chill down here, and it's just not good. As we say that, that's going to be Goatnax going to be falling. As the second one's going to be found here with the Oryx. As Toto is also going to fall to the Mozzie, plus playing white stairs. And it's all now just falling apart here for Goatnax's team. As I say that, Rob's going to find one though on the glass. He's finding a little bit more success on Cafe using his glass, as there is, you know, a lot more longer angles that can be gained. But again, it's not exactly a map you want to be playing a glass on. But as we say that, it's all for fun and games. As RNG Good finds one on to FW. And it's now going to be a 2 versus 3 situation. The HP count is not in favour here of Goatnax's team, as the defense side has got those Thunderbirds They have everything in their position here, as there's only 40 seconds left on the clock, and a lot of play has to be made here for the attackers very soon. But as we say, that's going to be Rob finding one though with the glass, and it's now a 2 versus 2 situation. But we do have a flank inbound, as we potentially may see. And it's a beautiful C4 coming out there, and that's going to be all down to Rob here in a 2 versus 1 situation. All the glass has to do is find these 2 frags, which it potentially could, and Rob can show us why the glass is the superior pick. But this vertical play is being played from below. And again, it's eternal hold, not vertical.
Doesn't know where it is though. He's been shot in the back there. Rob though is able to find J-Bines, and it comes down to Eternal on the bottom floor again. He knows where the diffuser is. He knows it's been collected, so the information's been fed back to him. He knows exactly what is happening. He knows the plant's going to be going down, and it's on at 000 now, and you can hear the sound cue of where it is. But do they get off in time? I don't think they are going to be able to get it. And Eternal, again, the master of Solace so far on Cafe Dostoyevsky, and has been able to get quite a few kills because of it, and it's paying dividends, as you would say, on the Cafe, as the attackers are going to rue the day that they had the chance to actually win that there, and just failed out a little bit as the defense are able to come out on top.
Looks like we're potentially going to see a 3-3 Cafe split, potentially. Who knows? As you know, Cafe is one of those maps that, you know, typically is a bit more defender sided more so than anything. I wouldn't class it as a very attacker map, but then again, in this matchup, there has nothing been that has stuck to, you know, the binary of what is going to be happening in a general matchup. As you're seeing, you know, it's all for fun and games. At the end of the day, this is for Ben, so everyone is just going to be having a bit of fun. No one is really going to be sweating that much. Well, you know, they're not really going to be. It's for fun. You know, no one should really be sweating in these matchups, but that is what it is. I'm going to see Kitchen though being played again, and this is where we're not actually going to see Newers on the Oryx this time, as you know, last round the Kitchen round typically wasn't an amazing round, as he just let them all just drop the hatch and decided not to react.
Yeah, and also it's a questionable headset. Didn't hear the Ayana coming in from prep straight in front of him, which is definitely not quite. Definitely, if they do rewatch the VOD, I would probably think that that's probably the next thing to improve in terms of their setup at least. Nerds has passed over onto the Mausoleum, was on this the last time and was able to at least put in a good performance. Got a couple of good kills on that operator, so that's probably why they're given this opportunity to play it again. And Rob is just consistently playing the glass. Don't think they're ever going to come off the glass. Don't think we'll ever see another operator in the hands of Rob on the attack. Gotnax bringing the Monty. Solo is on that DKB, of course, with the Boss G. The first C4 does get sent out. It finds a little bit of damage onto Gotnax now, and it is Nerds to try and face up towards that Monty, and knows that there's going to be some players piling in behind, but it's going to be Flash to try to escape the clutches of the Monty and Co, who are moving in from Bacon. It looks as though the push will come through, and the aggression does come with it, as the LMG's in the hands of Aren't You Good, and just pushing through that prep area though. 4 versus 5 though, as Solo has dropped his FW, has just popped into Small Bakery and got himself a double and looking for a triple. What's going on here? He's just not just flanked all the way around and looking for a quad. What's going on? What has just happened? It's a 1 versus 5 from FW going for a big flank towards Small Bakery, and no one paid attention to it. He's been gifted all those kills. He knows exactly where the last player is, but Nerds is going to steal the ace from him in a flawless round out of nowhere for the defense.
That is just questionable from the attackers, as they just look to be fast asleep in the bakery, as they just let him walk down. He just let them walk in and just didn't react at all, as, you know, it's just... I don't know, I'm left speechless after that sort of performance from the Oryx. Absolutely speechless.
Yeah, I am... yeah, I mean, I was in the play-by-play and I was speechless. So, it's definitely a questionable one to go. They just pushed in, and I think they just... Their eyes lit up in the fact that they had the map control. They had Bakery on lock, and it was like almost like, oh yes, we're comfortable, let's go, let's get our push started. And everybody just forgot that you need to cover the flank when it happens. And FW just popping in there, got himself a 4K, almost the ace, which was rudely stolen by Nerds. And yeah, great round from the defense in the end, and 4-2 split on Cafe Dostoyevsky, and Gotnax and Co need to get their finger out. They need to get things cooking on Cafe, or this will run away from them. But we've just switched sides, of course. This is where things could get spicy, and we're obviously going to see quite a bit of excitement in terms of the picks. The Warden, the Vigil, the Rook.
and the Borax. Now Shamima is the one on the spawn peak inside of Fireplace Hall. And we'll just decide to go away for it. Opens up the window, and I think it's more of a interference type method here with the boss G trying to find its marking to someone on the spawn peak. Eternal finds Goatnax with the reverse spawn peak, and the head is spotted there of the ace, but they're not able to land any shots as of yet. Solo sends out one bullet and can't quite land the other one. Lands a little bit of damage on the FW, but I think that's actually coming from elsewhere. I think there's a couple of players actually doing that, and it is Aren't You Good that is downstairs doing that. Finds a little bit of damage onto FW, but now things will slow down a little bit as the attack now begin this push from the east side.
Still a 4 versus 5 situation here. 2 minutes 20 on the clock. So a lot of time here for the defenders and the attackers. But that man count being in so open into the arms of the attackers. As we say, another one's going to be found. That's going to be Shamima falling as well to the hands of the ace. And 2 minutes on the clock in a 5 versus 3 situation on a defense heavy map. As we said, that's going to be Rob Oswald. And a beautiful headshot coming out from Solo. Boss G through the crack is going to find the headshot onto Eternal and send him to an early grave. And that's going to be a 2 versus 3 situation, as a comeback is going to be coming out here from the side of Goldax's team, as Solo is just an absolute menace here today. As the Impact's going to find himself a triple kill on the round, using that crack angle, not going to be able to find any more. But that is an absolute insane player. As another shot is going to land with that Boss G. And that's going to be Solo finding one, almost finding another, as Nudes is going to be left onto very low HP, as that Boss G does absolutely hit like a nap truck. And it's just going to be looking like it's falling apart here for the attack, as they were in such a strong position in a 5 versus 3 so early on. And a beautiful shot of the Boss G, and that's going to be Solo going with a 4K. That was absolutely insane, and definitely Solo showing us what Ben used to do with that Boss G, and definitely living it up in his memory.
Wow. I mean, that's exactly what you want. That's exactly what we were after for today. A Boss G performance to go down in history, and Solo gives us just that. A beautiful headshot, threads the needles through that gap in the top of the wall at the red staircase into the skull of someone that was lurking on that hatch, and it was amazing that he was able to hit the knock as they fell from the hatch at the same time, done so much damage, and using those impact nades and using the utility as well at the same time on the Vigil. And he's going straight back onto that Vigil, and of course he's going to go with exactly the same kit, and he's going to try to put on another performance for his team, and they're going to try and pull this one back as they now have a 4-3 situation.
Honestly, Solo, that Boss G, you love to see it. We love to see things like that, you know, especially in a charity matchup.
Yeah.
This is what we live for. This is the, you know, the event that we need to see it brought out here. And honestly, I would not be sad if we were to see it one more time. I would not be sad at all. And, you know, definitely that 4K is going to go down in history again, you know, especially, you know, in Ben's memory, using the Boss G and putting it to full use. Love to see if a Swampy's going to happen here though from Shamima. Not going to quite find anyone, leaving himself quite vulnerable there at the window, but he's going to get himself way back to safety and finish off some of that setup and just kind of lurk, as we say that though. It's going to be J-Bine's going to get found by Solo, and that Boss G going to come out once again and absolutely rain its terror through the attacking side, as Solo is going to find a quite chunk of damage onto himself. Not quite sure where that was from. I think that was the white stairs door. But he's going to get himself back to safety, and we could see a vault out potentially here from Solo, as his head is going to be taken off his shoulders, and that is going to level us up to 4 versus 4. That Boss G menace is taken off the board, and now the score count is now leveled up, Sham.
Yep, 4 apiece on each side for this round, and 2 minutes still on the clock, so there's plenty of time for things to get done. Aren't you good just running out there, not paying attention at all to the fact that Eternal was lurking on the other side, and Rob takes a little bit of damage inside of Kochek at the same time. Melodus gets himself a double kill inside the round and finds Goatnax, and now it's down to Shamima and Rob to do everything, but Shamima has something to say about that and finds Melodus inside of sight. 2 versus 2, Eternal and Nerds have all to do for the attack as Shamima goes through that breach to try and find anyone inside of VIP's side, and now in the 1 versus 2 scenario, Nerds is able to find Rob the villain inside of Kochek, but they know, they have the information, they know where the player is, but the flick comes through. Shamima on top, Nerds is in the dirt, and now it's a 1 versus 1 scenario as Eternal knows where the player is, but they both have the information, but Eternal comes out on top, wins the gunfight with Shamima, and the attack are able to take, yeah, again, another round inside of Cafe Dostoyevsky. Now I think we're on 5-3 before I see the score.
think indeed we are on a 5-3,
Yeah.
and that is of course the correct scoreline. And honestly, Solo just got absolutely huge. Unfortunately, it was taken off fairly early, and just we didn't get to see the full extent of Solo Boss G, which this matchup has just been crazy. There's no other way we can put it. It has just been insane plays coming out from Solo, and I'm hoping we see more of that as he is looking to bring the Boss G once again. But we're going to go down to the kitchen, if I am aware again, as it was lost that last round. And it was a decently close round. It was a 4 versus 4 for quite some time. But, we're going to see it being brought out again as the defenders think, we can make a few changes here. We can make it work. As that actually deployable shield is going to be used for the main double door, just to slow down the attackers if they do look to get aggressive there, which honestly wouldn't be surprising here. But I don't think the side of the J-Binds team has had that high aggression play on their attacks that we were kind of seeing from the side of Goatnax's team. It just has not been brought out from them, so we'll just have to wait and see whether they do choose to. As Goatnax looking to do a run out here with the Cav, can it be brought to dividends? But everyone is just looking to spawn because Goatnax going for that run out is going to almost lose his life on 1 HP, and it could be Aren't You Good going to get taken down here, as I think they are quite aware of his spawn peak, but just not looking to challenge it as of yet, as it's still 5 versus 5. 2 minutes 36, and beautiful shot from Eternal. The timing just not on the side of Aren't You Good, and that is going to bring us to an early enough 4 versus 5 situation, as Melodious is going to take a little bit of damage. J-Bind's quite low also, and we're not seeing Solo Boss G have any impact yet, but that is very, very left to be seen. Some shots being fired from Rob the Villain. Not going to quite find anyone. Surprised we haven't seen him on the Vector, as he is that last game. We did see an absolute Vector clutch, but we're going to see Solo using this angle. Will he be able to use that Bosch to find anyone? Surely will be able to find the toes of someone. But as we said, Rob the Villain's also going to get taken down in a headshot. Nade's going to be thrown. Not going to quite find anyone as the Cat's under the window, and that's going to be the Cat finding one on a sliver of HP. Goatnax finding the Sledge of Eternal. As we say, that's going to be FW taken down, and J-Binds also being brought down a little bit lower on HP. Solo and Goatnax left in 2 versus 3 situation. Who will come out on top?
I think he's surely had the sound cue, the person in the next room next to him. Look at this. The Ash seems to know exactly where he is and has the info that they're on the angle in towards prep. So Melodus is wise to it. So Solo has to be very careful here. Just shows it a bit too much and not aware of the fact that Ash was lurking in the next room. Goatnax on 5 HP and a Dream pushing through towards kitchen. Not enough though. Gets at least 1 kill, but it's only a consolation as the attackers are able to get themselves onto match point.
That is going to take us to match point. 6-3 in favour of J-Bind's team. Goatnax's team not having the best showing, as the meme plays are just not working for them in this matchup as they did last. And I think we need to see some more kind of unorthodox strats coming out here from the side of Goatnax's team, as that has been what has got them rounds before. And they're kind of sticking more. They're not sticking to the the general plays, but they're kind of falling back more into line of how general plays would go. Not seeing any of the extravagant odd strats that we had seen from Rob on Clubhouse, which I think is honestly what the side of Goatnax's team needs.
Well, I mean, it comes down to a crucial change, and there's no Mira. There's absolutely no Mira, and Rob has decided not to bring the Goyo at all at any point, and that could be the detriment. Rob had a wonderful time on Clubhouse before on the Mira and the Vector operators, but this time not been able to play that operator and not deciding to go, of course, for that Goyo, instead just using the smoke inside this round. But it has an interesting kit in terms of the gun that they've brought. They've brought along the FMG9 with the 1.5. And Goatnax is going to try for the 1 peak. I've yet to see one be successful from him, but we'll see if he can put in a performance this time from the Cigar Lounge window. But Aren't You Good is going to find FW to start with, and that's the first spawn peak finds its mark. That's the run out from White Staircase, but Shamima's putting the dirt on the other side as J-Binds finds that. But look at the sliver of a pixel that you can see from Aren't Good to the other side. He's not quite able to land the shots though. Not enough to get the down or the kill onto Melodus. So, but look at Melodus with the return angle, finds the kill onto Aren't You Good, and
pauses for a second there, almost like they were going to clip that. 4 versus 3 now. They're just going to get a little bit aggressive onto the skylight to try and find anyone that does over peak, because we're in that situation now where they have the man advantage, and that's where you're more likely to see those over peaks coming from the attackers. But Solo, remember what he did the last time. Remember the absolute perfection that was that clutch that we've seen come through inside the Cigar Lounge, and the Boss G will be in tow and will be on the round to try and come up with the same solution as before. And let's see if they can solve this puzzle of the attackers on this hatch towards the red staircase.
Saw the sliver of the foot there, looks to find the nook, finds the shot, and is able to almost get a second there. Was that a down? It was a down.
Wow.
As Newards is going to fall. And honestly, that is just some extraordinary gameplay, as Newards is going to get picked back up. But Solo was holding the tightest angle through the little crack. It's a 2 versus 3 situation. The HP count is just about in favour of the attackers, but you've still got Solo in such a strong position and just holding these very powerful angles. As a shot is trying to be returned back, as Goatnak finds one onto Newards, and now it's a 2 versus 2 situation, and full control is here still in favour for the defenders, as the attackers are still chilling on the roof. Haven't decided to make a drop yet, as it looks like it's got a hot drop here from Electrical Hatch. It's going to fall. Going to find one onto Goatnak as it looks to find a second, but it's going to be player of Solo sitting here, Boss G in hand, in a 1 versus 2 situation here, looking to find the final 2 players of Eternal and J-Binds. Looks to go for a swing. Can he find one? As he's so close here. Can he find the shot? Can't find the shot onto Eternal. It's a 1 versus 1 between Solo and J-Binds. Punch hole made in that shop wall, but not going to quite use that angle, as it's all going to be down here to a Boss G versus the ARX, who will win out this gunfight in a very, very, an intense game. And Boss G, look, could come out here as he finds it down. And that's going to be a bit of a teabag for his consolation, as Solo finds a triple in the round and gets that defuse off. Draws a little bit of an L on the wall just to show Team J-Binds the game is not over yet, and that is going to be a round here for side of Goatnaks.
I don't really swear on stream, but I feel like it's almost merited at this point. But there's no fucking way that he just clutched that again. The same situation, the same pixel. They just don't learn the lessons. It's there. The ACOG goes through that gap onto red. He gets 2 downs. He gets a kill as well from it. It's ridiculous. And then he just clutches it up every single time. Oh my word, Solo, what a performance. He's going to drag this team kicking and screaming through to the next round, hopefully. And we've got a game on our hands here if Solo has something to say about it.
Solo has had a reply to almost every conversation that the side of J-Binds is throwing. 1v2 clutch with a Boss G in the hand. Didn't pull out the SMG-12 once in that situation. It was all down to a Boss G. And he was able just to hit those shots where they counted most. And just absolutely rip his way through J-Binds, finding those important frags, getting that post defuse, and writing that L on the wall, just to show this game isn't over.
Definitely not. Solo 12 and 6 on the Boss G, and we didn't really see much from it in the last game, but this game we're definitely getting a performance from it, and we're having a fun time here. Of course, it is still match point, so there can still be no mistakes made from this defense. They have to win this round if they are to try and stay within this tournament today. And of all the operators to bring on that match point, it's Chanka in the hands of Goatnax. Interesting.
Well, be definitely an interesting play, as we're going to see some feet holes being opened up there with that LMG, as it has a very good destructive power. And it'll be interesting to see if that's going to come into the dividends here on the side of Goatnax's team, as Solo tempting us with a bit of a spawn peek, not going to stick it at all. But that absolute Boss G is a menace, and definitely doing Ben proud here by running that Boss G and doing so well with it.
Yep, just lurking on the top floor at this minute, and Cigar Lounge sees a player there. Look at the freebie they're going to get if they can land the shot. Not quite able to get the kill, as Melodis is going to be dropped down to 20 odd HP, and that shows exactly where the Vigil of Solo is playing, but Melodis is not interested in trying to re-peek or take that gunfight. They're going to go to the top floor, slows things down a little bit, and open up that hatch and begin this execute into the map. There's no players inside the map as of yet for the attackers. They are just on the outside and the fringes of this top floor, and the hatches are all opened up, and now they can begin this attack as Melodis is able to find Solo, but that's the clutch player gone inside of Cigar Lounge, and that with it could be the hopes and dreams of Goatnax's team as they are now looking down the barrel of defeat, as FW is able to find Shamima at the same time, but there's a rotate coming down at the red staircase, and there's a player inside of the mining room, but Aren't You Good finds FW at the same time as Melodis holds on to the staircase. There's a player inside of that cave area just below, waiting for anyone that could pop out onto that heaven balcony, but no one's going to give them that as of yet. And still, just going to slow things down just a little bit and just play this out for a couple more seconds and waste some time. The defenders are just going to wait, and the attackers now try to get themselves in a position to get this set up and done. And there's a capgun trap there just to slow them down as much, and spotted out, just shoot it, which is one of the strangest choices I've seen in a while, but Rob is still holding towards that pillar room, waiting for the opportunity for anyone to come round from that red staircase, but they're not going to go for it just yet, as now the Lion does activate that EE1D to try and find anyone moving around the side of mining, and it will be the Chanka that is spotted of Goatnax, who's on 5 HP. He seems to always be on 5 HP no matter what point, and he's going to kill himself! What is Goatnax do? He's just accidentally set himself on fire on 5 HP. Yeah, I caught it on stream, Goatnax. I hope you're watching the VOD back. I am so sorry, but that is one of the funniest things I've seen in so long. I don't even have any words for what just happened on match point nonetheless. Nerds is prone inside the laundry, waiting for anyone to come round that hallway. Not going to come as of yet, but Rob knows there's play. But look at the bullets coming through the wall. Doesn't find anything. Has a shotgun in hand. Rob finds a kill on Melodis now. It's a 2 versus 2 scenario. Still has an opportunity. Aren't You Good though? With another one, he finds Nerds inside the laundry, and it's Eternal versus the world. As a 1 versus 2 scenario is in his favour inside a reading though. I think as he could give for the swing. I think he knows the player's there, but doesn't land the shot. As Aren't You Good is able to come out on top, and still we're inside of Cafe for the long haul. 6 rounds to 5. Still on match point. Still an opportunity for both teams to win this, and we are going to go all the way, it looks like, almost.
What a round for Rednacks in that situation. The little Shumika ball just falling backwards on top of him was quite unfortunate, especially on a match point. Giving us a moment, and Rednacks not going to be happy that that was caught on stream. Definitely not going to be happy at all. No. That is a moment that it's a copper 5 moment. A wood 5, as they would say. That is something.
Yeah, I think the best part about it was the pause as he did it, because he realised what he'd done, and he was on 5 HP, and there was nothing. He was never gonna survive it, so he just kind of had to stand there and be like, "Yep, like yeah, that is what it is."
It's the meme, you know, the dog is just chilling in the room and everything is fine.
Bomb located by attackers.
Oh my word, a classic game. But Solo was taken off early, and that wasn't to the detriment too much of the defense, as Goatnax's team were able to clutch it up. And I think we're gonna get some. I think we're definitely gonna get some overtime here, and the game definitely deserves it. It's been one of those games. It's been exciting. It's been fun. And we've seen some great stats. We've seen some great clips and great pullbacks from Solo, especially. I'm hoping for Spompy here to get us up and running inside this round here, but we'll see in just a second.
Spompy coming over here from Solo would be absolutely insane to start off the round. That's not what we want to see. As we say that, it's going to be Aren't You Good falling very early, and one of those players that has came in crucial for some of these rounds, especially the last round, pulling Goatnax's team back into the play. He's going to fall very early on. That's going to be your Mozzie, 14 and 8 down, but still Solo is on the board. That Boss G is still in hand, and it's still a menace nonetheless. As long as he can stay alive, but he's not getting pressured as of yet. He's going to peek these hatches, try to find any player that's going to be trying to peek him, but no one looks to be peeking him, and he's just going to sit there. As we say that, he could find one here very, very shortly, as the head is just going to fly across the screen. As he looks to go for it, is going to land a shot, not going to quite hit those shots. As we say that, those the Duckies, but Duckby is going to fall, and that is going to be the player of Shamima to find one. As we say that, those going to be Solo taken down. That Boss G is going to fall, as Melodis is going to take down that Vigil. And it's going to be left in a 3 versus 4 situation. Minute 54 on the clock, as Shamima's shooting his own cam, because for the fun of it, I think actually the Dokkaebi may have hacked those cams. Not too sure if that was the case or not. But as we say that, we're going to move on and get going, as this white stairs control is still in the play of defenders. As it looks like some shots are going to be exchanged here. Shamima is going to find one, as it's now going to be a double kill on the board for him. As that also cold on the floor. It's a 3 versus 2 situation. Shmira is just going to hold this diffuser down as they are aware of that diffuser there in that position, but it's also going to be Rob the Villain here with a shotgun in hand. Sees the laser sight on that door, surely is going to know there's a player top right. That shotgun is going to swing, it's going to find the down, and that's going to be all down to a 1 versus 3 here, as it's going to be Eternal with that shotgun, or not Eternal, it's going to be Rob the Villain with a shotgun in hand to see if we're going to find the damage here onto FW. As a swing comes out here, shotgun not going to find its mark, and that's going to be the side of J-Binds finding the game, taking us into a 6-5 or 7-5 loss.
What a game. It was a game for the ages for sure. Enjoyable, exciting stuff, great clutches, a wonderful game to behold on streaming. I'm glad we got to see it. I'm a little bit sad that we didn't quite get the full range and full overtime, but we have a good performance. Look at the amount of players breaking through into the double digits. It was a wonderful game, and we will be back shortly with the next game, so don't go anywhere, and we'll keep you informed of what the bracket will be as well in the next one. But for now, it's 7-5 in favour of J-Bind's team as they go through to face off Klein in the next round. We'll see you shortly, and enjoy your break.
Hello everyone and welcome back. We are getting cracking with the semi-final, the first of the semi-finals anyway. There's another semi-final on the other side, so thanks for coming back to see us. We're going back to Cafe. We've just been on Cafe. It was a pretty fun game, so I'm hoping that we can get the same result this time, of course. Remember, this tournament is in memory of our good friend Ben Hope, who sadly lost his life earlier this month. There is currently the charity link is pinned in the chat, so if you want to hit that the link there just to make any donations, also any subs, bits, anything that's donated today to the actual channel will be given to that charity as well. And that's pretty much it when it comes to that kind of stuff. You can also access the draft as well if you want to see what teams are playing, but we'll keep you up to date anyway. At the minute we have Team Jinky versus Team Quavery, and yeah, we're getting started. First couple of bans are happening, Thatcher, Ying, and we'll get started here, yeah. So Arya, you ready to go?
We are ready and all fired up, especially after that last game. The passion is in with us, and we're going to get in here. I just want to see a Ying ban, favorite distasteful ban. We're going to see Thatcher, the Ying, Izami. Nothing unusual with the Izami taken out, as we are on Cafe. Izami can pose a massive threat to the attackers, so that's going to be a pretty common ban. I'm going to come off and say here there's going to be probably a Cade or a Valkyrie ban coming out here as the final ban, but that is yet to be seen. We'll just have to wait and see if that's going to be the case. As we say, that's going to be a Capcan ban for the second for today, which is just teams just not want to play against that Capcan, who can be an absolute annoyance, as you last night did dice with a few Capcan traps on PC, but we will leave that one hidden because I don't think you want people to know that. I'll say that we're going to hop into round number 1 on our cocktail for what's going to be Quavery's first defense, and it's going to be Jinky's first attack. I'm hoping to see some, wash cheese. Hopefully we get some, like what we saw Solvenry do in the previous game. That does not look to be the case, as it looks to be a more kind of structured round here coming out from both sides, kind of compared to the last two games where we've had this kind of, let's try just random things and hope for the best. As you have your Ashes Buff, to be the Nomad and the 8. We're not kind of seeing what we had before.
Yeah, I mean, top floor hold is what we're going to see first of all, and we're just going to be going to a couple of the extensions we're going to see inside of Cigar Lounge, and I'm just very quickly going to reply to Nero, so if you could continue.
Yep, that's no worries at all. We're going to see pretty much a standard hold here coming out here from the side of, that's going to be Quavery's team. They're not looking to, swap things up or making things interesting. It just looks like we want to stick with the basics. As Cafe, you just run your basic strats. This is a charity event after all. We're not out here to be sweating in games. As we say that, though, a spawn peek was going to be attempted from the Oryx, but is not going to land any shots, as it's going to be CZA to shut the Oryx down very early on in the round, and we're already left in a 4 versus 5 with about 25 seconds gone off the clock. But as we say that, we're going to get in here, get this attack underway, as drones are just going to be coming in, allowing this player. Actually, Buck is already after pushing up here. This could be an early opening frag here for the Buck, as he's already deep into Cigar Shop. Not a whole lot happening as a player's Prumber finds a shot onto Pixel, is going to send that guy into the Gulag, as it's a 5 versus 3 situation here, as the Buck is already deep into sight. Super is already deep, and I don't think they're even aware it's a 5 versus 2 situation. 5 versus 1 as Super finds a double kill in the round. All down here, as CZA is going to find the final frag, and it's a flawless round here coming out for Jinky.
Wow. Okay, so interesting, very much interesting. We could dissect the round all day you want, but Supper just decided to drop in through the hatch and got himself a triple kill. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. No one was really paying attention to the fact that there was an opportunity for the players to do that, and even though they had quite a bit of defensive setup in line for the freezer and that pixel area, it didn't really stand up to par when it came to these attackers coming through. They didn't really need to do anything in terms of the clear. They killed the pixel player without even expunging any sort of utility at all, and worked out in their favour in the end. And this might have something to do with warm-ups, because Team Jinky have played 3 games. This is the 3rd game, whereas Team Quavery have only played the 1. So it could be a case of they could just be warmer on the controllers, and that's maybe what the situation is. So it really does depend though, because of course, if you've only played one map as opposed to your teammates having played two in their kind of warm-up area, they might be a little bit more well-versed, and it certainly looks like it from the first round anyway, so certainly have a look at the LTT and the box.
One element I'd like to mention to what you've just stated, about saying that they've had more games to warm up on. The stamina could also be affected by that. So it's a very double-edged sword. Yes, they've had more games to warm up and, get into this. But their stamina is also going to be lacking if they have to keep playing more maps. So that definitely could be a detriment here for the side of Jinky's team. But again, if they make this to the grand finals, which that last round looked very convincing that they will make it to the finals, they could be out of stamina by, playing 4 maps, playing all 5 maps. It might not be good for them.
Yeah, just depends on the team really, how you react to that. Of course, if you need to be prepared to be playing a best of 5 though, and it really depends on the maps as well. I don't actually have the map. I don't have the map statistics on where the maps have been today for the other teams. But of course, this is the second time I've seen Cafe, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's been seen elsewhere. Quavery though is going to open up the scoreboard inside this round, and that's Jinky to fall to that vector. And Mira was banned the last time. This time we're going to be able to at least see her, and I'll find out where he is playing at the moment. It seems to be playing on that double door, just getting aggressive. But Gilliff is going to return the favour, swings onto the Mira window, but is immediately refired by Volheim, and now the push comes through from the Freezer side. Doesn't spot the player's head there. Eventually does get the flick onto Pocook, who falls to the Oryx, and it's a 2 versus 4 scenario with Supper and Sisa now with it all to do for the attackers, but the R4C is a strong weapon indeed, but not if you're looking the wrong way, as KX is able to find that kill onto Sisa. Is now Super holds inside the VIP. He's going to slow down a little bit and gather some information. He's not aware of the fact there's one on the brown staircase. Now that information is given back as the player does swing by KX. At the same time, when the pinch and the push come through the VIP, and that player is shut down, Super killed off, and the defenders bite back with a round of their own.
Quite convincing round on top of that as well from the defense here. But that is going to leave a lot to be seen here, as we are now 1-1 apiece, and it looks like the side of Quavery has actually kind of built up a bit more of a bark than anything.
Yeah, that was good. It was a good round. I'm glad we've seen that, because the first round looked pretty convincing for the attack. I'm glad we've seen one from the defense now, and that's really settled my emotions, at least to show that they are going to be. It's going to be a balanced team, at least enough. It's not going to be just a run through right away from at least one or the other so far. So they've at least shown us both that they can get on the scoreboard and they can both win it around convincingly. And I do apologise, by the way, for a little bit of the lag. It is just down to me hosting this and spectating as well, and sometimes just can be like that, unfortunately. So I'm hoping that it does even out a little bit, but we'll certainly have a look. And Quavery is going for a different hold this time. They're going to open up Freezer. They didn't do this last time. They fully reinforced it and played the mute jammers there. This time they're going to open that up and have the Mira windows inside of that blue kind of tarp area. And Washington, of course, is going to be reinforced with another Mira as well to face it towards that default plant area as well.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out for this game is it's all structured. Like the last games, we had like Solo running around with Washi like a headless chicken, just going everywhere, hitting shots, just slamming down people. But this game is, it's actually stratted out. It's almost like a comp game. It's more of a structure thing for a charity event, which is, not as typical to be seen. But still, we've kind of seen every kind of style of play style today. So that is something that we do like to see, and kind of give some variety to the stream also.
It also kind of feeds into the fact though that we are in the semi-finals, and this is the stage where teams maybe start to get a bit more serious. Of course, they've been playing for a wee while, and they start to get a foothold in the tournament and think, oh, actually maybe we can win this, and get a wee bit of clout or something out of it as well. So this is where teams will start to be a little bit more passionate and be a little bit more serious and on the tone when it comes to these rounds. And KX just being a little bit cheeky inside of Cigar Lounge. This is going to be drone though. The drones come round and they try to find them. They do have a player on Pixel at the same time, and it's this kind of interference play that they're playing with the Jaeger. But look at this, the Frost shoots the drone and they're just trying to conceal this as much as possible, and this player is spotted on the window, but there is a little bit of a return fire, but Coco is dropped, and now KX is able to get himself out towards Cigar Lounge, and that is at Constay to find another kill onto Supper at the same time, and swinging swinging out towards Cigar Lounge as KX, 2 versus 5. Those Conscious able to find himself a second on the round. He seems to just be flying around the place with this 1.5 and the Frost in hand and getting himself loads of kills onto that doorway towards Red as they just keep re-peeking time and time again. But the damage is done a little bit onto Conscious. Eventually does fall, but the Mira is spotted. But a beautiful shot comes through, but Gillif with a double kill eventually is put in the dirt because of KX swinging through Cigar's shop, and the defenders are able to pick up another round. That's 2 in a row, and they look pretty convincing now.
The defenders have definitely picked up a lot more speed, and you know, they're definitely gaining this momentum. That last round was even better than the first round, and it was just that Frost just swinging all the angles, and plus the side of Jinky's team just peeking into that 1.5. That's a detriment to their side. You know, if the Frost is there, you need to start just kind of soaking into more utility, and KX also being able to sit in the corner of the minibar wasn't quite ideal. The fact that he was able to find one and then kind of slide back away, not take any damage, and just sitting there wasn't ideal. If they had been able to take him down, it could have been a completely different round.
Yeah, and it just comes down to the play together with the Frost. The Frost is playing on the Pixel shield and popping out and make sure that those drones didn't get to their destination, which was that red wall, to check if there was anyone lurking in that corner, and eventually they just decided to force it, got onto the window, and it was just to their detriment because of course there was Jaeger lurking in that corner ready for the kill. Quite a bit of the work has been done towards these sites, just making some feet holes between the sites. Of course it is fireplace and reading, that is where we're going to be going for this one. No Mira on side this time, no hold on the top floor, but there is a castle being brought to hold on to this cocktail area. It looks like they're not really going to make any line of sights, they're just going to opt to sit on this heaven balcony and see if they can get a result from that.
Yeah, it's going to be a heavy top floor hold, as you know, it's a typical thing to see here for a dining raiding hold. There's nothing unusual about that, and it's definitely going to be, we're going to have to see the attackers, you know, there's a lot more utility going to need to be used here in this situation. As we say that, CZA is choosing to bring the Boss G. Is this the start of, you know, a little bit of a meme play that we're going to get seeing? Are we going to see, you know, some solo level Boss G plays as we have had in the previous matchup, which was absolutely insane to anyone who did see that? But it's definitely going to, we're going to have to see a very strong top floor control here from the side of the defenders. And we'll have to see some very decent team synergy coming out from Jinky's team if they look to try and even take this round, as that top four is a very difficult one to take.
We've seen the Solos plays in the last round, or the last game even as well, and Quaver is going to take up that mantle inside of this cafe map and is trying to find a player on red stairs. Knows there's a player there. It was a little bit of a stalemate for a second as Gillif is aware there could be someone floating around there, but instead is going to go up to the top floor and start to push towards Cigar Lounge because they've opted not to go for a pixel shield. Instead they're just going to have the castle barricades, because remember, it is the middle floor, it's not that top floor, and the need does come out to get rid of that castle barricade. Prefer does go through, but Gillif is aware of it, and Supper takes a little bit of damage on the other side, but Jinky's able to find the first pick inside this round. That's Zyko to fall. Now Conti takes a little bit of damage on the other side of the 4 versus 4 scenario, but there's a player lurking on that staircase. Is it the Solus moving up behind? It is. Quavery goes for the flank round the back, is going to get a free kill onto the back of Gillif even, inside of Cigar Shop and through that main skylight area. And now it's just going to slow down a little bit, because players are just, that's the kind of the front of the round kind of aggression that tends to come out if the players do go for that rush, and then they slow down a little bit, try to regather themselves, and Supper and Cisa trying to go through the site though, but just to say, it will slow down a little bit. Volin is able to, not able to get a kill as he is instantly taken out of the equation in that white staircase. And now 2 versus 4. Now they just have to rethink what they're going to do with this. So another one that comes out is Cisa to find a kill this time. The flashbang goes up through the hatch. He's not going to find anything, but there is a player on the staircase close and holding. It's Constate to find Supper, and now we're in a 1 versus 2 scenario. But look at this coming up from behind. Cisa finds himself in a 1 versus 1, but where's Quavery? He's at the end of the corridor. He knows that the player's on the white staircase and they know exactly where each other are, but as a Boss G, can it come out on top? Has the angle, sees a player, just goes to drop the drone, but is shot out. Throws the drone at the wrong time, and Cisa though still there, has 1 bullet in the mag now and has to try and land the shot, but doesn't quite be able to get it. As Quavery holds the tight angle from the Cigar Lounge. They'll surely know that that is wide open. Surely they know that that is exactly where the player will be holding. As Quavery holds in it, but he's able to gather the diffuser. Now the information will be there that Quavery is giving up the diffuser to the attack. Now the Solus play comes in, trying to spot where it is, but they're too far away from the site. They've realised that it's not this other side, it's inside of Reed, and Cisa gets to plant down and spots where the diffuser is, but is able to get the player moving off of the diffuser. The Solus comes in clutch, and Quavery is able to win out that round for his team, and now we're in a 3 versus 1 situation on the round count.
Almost a dire situation there for Quavery's team, as it was a 3 versus 5, then it came down to 2 versus 1. clutch out though from Quavery. That Solus again showing dividends to the defense. We saw it last game where we saw some absolutely amazing Solus plays, and again using that Solus to find where that diffuser is going down, and it works out an absolute treat. The Dopey had no clue that they were being seen by the Solus. Solus had every bit of information that was possible for them to have, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. That round was just put straight into Quavery's hands.
Yep, it was wonderfully done, and I kind of thought that it was going to go the Boss G favour, because I was fancying Caesar to clutch that up, I think, and it just played it slightly wrong, I think, because I think the drone was a choice to throw the drone and just came off the angle at the wrong time, and it was siege timing at its best. But the Solus has proven to be pretty useful, and I'm glad to see the Solus being played around this diffuser and around this utility as opposed to just being used as a drone hunter, and that's what I like seeing. And this is perhaps the reason we're not seeing Solus inside of the actual ESA Cup main groups and going into those playoffs, because they're such a strong operator, and if they're played correctly, they can be an absolute demon when it comes to that defense. And that's exactly what we've seen so far. Both games in Cafe has been wonderful played, and I'm not surprised if Solus will start to get banned a lot on Cafe, or will continue to get banned a lot, and especially on Cafe when we go into the playoffs of ESA.
Well, especially out of all the maps that you can really think of, Cafe has the most really destructible floors, so Solus can be used to the highest amount and get the best possible, bang for your buck essentially when bringing an operator. As there's no really sight other than you can't go from below, obviously, for the reading room, but you can use top down. But a lot of information here, and we could potentially see a jump out here. Not going to happen though, as KX is looking to just fall back just a little bit. Not going to go for that jump out though, as we're going to see Gil found one, but Gilf get instantly retraded out as these gridlock tracks are going to be slow, potentially slowing down. Not going to quite know, they're not aware. Find, going to hit the headshot. Pelcock is going to find one, and it's going to be bringing the man count to a 4 versus 3 situation. That freezer wall is going to get opened, but there is a player watching from freezer here, as Quavery using that 1.5 on that frost can absolutely cause pain here though. Is that Boss G down?
Yep.
That is a Boss G down here from CZA. As vault in, freezer going to be taken, and that's just going to be CZA looking to close off that kill. 4 versus 2 situation here, and definitely a much stronger round here from Jinky's team, as they were able just to collapse down, find out that those roamers, and be able to take that as the diffuser's going hot on the ground. Pelco getting that diffuser down, and that's going to be a little bit more damage taken onto Zako as he's going to fall. It's a 4 versus 1 situation here, and Aruni has everything to play for. Finds a beautiful headshot, not going to quite find the second, as a player is going to push up pistol in hand, can't find one, and that's not going to happen as Courtesy's going to fall. Actually use the pistol in hand, find one, shotgun's going to come out though, and that's going to be all she wrote for that round, as decided Jinky was able to take one more round.
Yeah, pretty decent attack there, and that is 100% a missed opportunity on that back staircase. I have no idea how that happened. They got past the track stingers, and Pockhook still comes out on top. No idea how he wins that gunfight. It just reacted so much quicker than what the Solus did, and that is the main part of that round that went wrong for the defense. There was that play there, because if that player lands that shot, then Pockhook is dead. That's the ace gone, and that's any attempt to open that wall a little bit trickier. Of course, they'd already sent out the ace charges, but likely would be what would be likely to follow after the kill onto the ace would be likely the shots onto the freezer wall to get rid of those ace charges. So probably only would have seen it opened at least a quarter of the way, not quite fully open the full way, and that's probably would have changed the round completely. Didn't quite work out though, and now we are on a 3-2 round count in favour still of the defender side of Quavery, as they go to the top floor this time, and they're going to bring out that mirror strat, same as before, and see if they can bring out the same win as the last time.
10 seconds left.
Definitely that mirror can be quite strong for a top floor hold, and as we saw, the side of Jinky's team, they just were not able that last round the last round we saw Reading being played, they just weren't quite able. But that mirror definitely can cause some issues if they're not coordinated, which the side of Jinky's team are not looking. They're not looking the hottest at the moment. That last round was definitely a lot better played by them. But we're going to have to see more of those rounds if they're expecting to win this game and get it into the final.
Yeah, and we're seeing maybe a couple of potential spawn peaks, but no one's really going to go for that as of yet, as Oryx is now just waiting for the opportunity, waiting for the sound queue to come through, as Valine is the one on that operator, holding onto the white staircase, knows that they'll be around that area, and thinking about going for the jump now, but the position will be at least given away for anyone that is lurking in that area, because the KB calls, I was trying to remember the name of it, Logic Bombs, that's the one, are going off. and that will give away the position of Volheim, but he's standing on a mute jammer, so he's not going to, his position is not going to be given away. He's still allowed to lurk on this window, and surely he's going to go for the jump out at some point, but Supper's going to pop down one of those claymores. There's a claymore on both of those windows, so if Volheim does go out that window, he will be deleted straight out of the round, and another explosion on the other side as KX holds down this red staircase area, waiting for anyone to come around, and it looks as though that will be come to pass in just a second as the Cape is on the other side of this wall, but knows the players just swept in towards Pillar and spots them, but not able to come out on top as Caesar's dropped out of the round. It's a 4 versus 5 scenario now as KX rotates from the training museum towards that fireplace hall, but there's a player on the hatch above that is constantly that's holding this nice angle towards the top of the red staircase, the 1.5 in hand, and did have a great performance here last time, but is going to be put in the dirt fairly quickly because Gillif is on the other side also with a 1.5 and brings the pain towards that Frost player inside of Pixel. And now 4 versus 4 will slow down a little bit as the attackers now begin this utility play to open up that red wall and get themselves in a good position for this execute.
Yeah, as we say, this execute's getting executed here now. As Claymore's going to find one. That was a vault out, actually, I think, from the Oryx.
Yeah, you say.
And he's around. Super, going to get taken down. But that Vector is going to be there, going to collect one, as Cakes is looking to get a little bit aggressive there on that cigar door. Not going to quite do it, though, as it's a 2 versus 3 situation, as Aiko's going to fall to Powcook. And this is now all to be played for here, as we could see potentially Diffuser going down here very shortly. As is there a flank coming up there from the red? I think we just saw that. Not too sure.
His teammate.
So going to see just kind of white hold here, as it's going to be KX finding one, and it's now all going to be down to the player of Jinky in a 1 versus 2 situation. That L85 in hand against a Mira and a Oryx, and the Jaeger should say. As I thought, as Jinky's going to come around from the back, that Mira's going to take some little bit of damage, but it's going to be tight. It's going to be a tight one, as the Mira is not in the corner. Jinky not quite aware of where the Mira has rotated, but she is going to be holding the double door here, and a flank potentially could come out here. As the shots are not going to be found, the trade's going to actually come out, and it's all going to be down to KX. Can I keep that round in play for the side of Quavery's team?
I've no idea how the sledge got all the way up there and then missed the opportunity. They managed to get all the way through the bar towards Cocktail, round the Miras, avoids the Miras completely. They don't have any idea, but then they hear him inside the Cocktail Lounge, just gives away his position, pops out, and then the round just falls apart from there. So it was an opportunity there for the clutch to come in, but they just could not deal with those Mira windows. They just had no idea how to get rid of them. There was 2 facing towards that Cigar Lounge side, and it was impossible for them to get in there. And they eventually did just force it, so they just decided to try and send it across Cigar Lounge, which is a death sentence because they're just going to swing it from behind those Miras if they are on them. They were just hoping that someone wasn't looking, hoping they weren't paying attention to their positioning, and it just wasn't the case. The defenders now, 4-2 in favour of Quavery, but of course they're going to be switching sides, going on to their attack, and this is where things could change and we could get a different platform when it comes to this matchup.
And especially Cafe is one of the more defender sided maps, so taking a 4-2 split isn't the worst thing in the world, as defense is way easier, as you can let the attackers kind of play into your hands. You don't exactly have to get more aggression being brought out, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of playstyle that the side of Jinky's team is wanting to bring, as we're going to see the Mira on board, so it means they're not going to be getting overly aggressive. They're looking to try and kind of play things safe, kind of hold out and just let the attackers kind of swing in. But again, we have the Flores on the board, so that utility is just not going to be safe at all whatsoever. And it's going to be an interesting one, Sham, seeing as we're going to see a lot more utility based rounds now, as we're stepping away from the meme plays.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of different ways you can play the game. Of course, the Siege is one of the most versatile FPSs there is, and some players want to win these things. They're playing the game, they're giving up their day to play in a tournament and stuff, and they want to try getting as deep as possible. They want to get as much games as possible, and that's the stage we're at. We're now into the semi-finals, and this is where things will start to get a bit more serious, and we'll start to see more strats here. But look at this opportunity that's almost missed there. Caesar, though, pops up through the hatch, just can't quite land the shots onto KX, so it takes so much damage on the reverse of that angle, and now he's able to escape himself back to the Cigar Lounge. But Conste's on the coverage, knew the player would have to rotate back, though. Spotted inside a pixel is the Legion, and is somehow able to escape as KX takes a little bit of damage, and that Cigar shot push. And now they have control of Cigar Lounge, but this is where they couldn't get past the last time. They couldn't get anywhere near those Miras, and they just couldn't. It didn't matter that they'd been given up, they'd been given Cigar Lounge, they didn't have the right utility to get past it. And this is where I would like to have seen some smoke grenades come out, and at least to cover those pushes, to at least help with those angles to get through in that cigar lounge area. Volheim will go for the rotate from below, or well, knows there's a rotate coming from below. Quaver is able to find Pocook, and this is where the defense start to fall apart a little bit. They went for the same setup as what we've seen on the other side, and it looks as though they know how to dissect this. The support is downed, and now it's probably going to be taken out though as the push comes all the way through to Cigar Lounge, and the attackers just absolutely steamroll through with a flawless round against their own defense that they used so successfully in the last round. They're able to solve it. You know, they had the strat, they brought that strat with them in the last round, they won it convincingly, and they know exactly how to counter it, and it works out for them.
It works out absolutely amazing, and just a flawless round coming out on the back of it. It's just, that's all she wrote for that round for the side of Quaver's team. And, you know, Jinky's team they're not looking hot on the sticks. It looks like that, what we mentioned at the start of this game, that stamina, that's playing into, it looks like it's playing into key here, as they're just not really able to find those rounds that are needed. And things just slowly are slipping away here from Jinky's team, as, you know, they had an amazing first round. But after that, things have been very, very choppy and on the ropes for them. And they're going to have to pull something out here if they want to even attempt to win this. As it's, you know, 5-2. And that is a lovely spectator ball there. Oryx just throwing his gun around the place.
Yeah, it was a proximity alarm that was tossed out there. No, it wasn't actually like a T5 that was thrown. But certainly looked like it, at least. Bottom 4 hold this time, and hopefully they can put in a better performance. They tried to use the strat that Quavery's team had brought against them. Didn't quite work out. This time they're going to have to try and come up with something different on the bottom 4 and see if they can get themselves in this matchup, because it's starting to run away a little bit, 5-2. But they still have an avenue to bring this back in. Still plenty of rounds to do it. Let's see if they can do that just now.
Be interesting to see if they can, as Gilif is going to take an absolute load of damage here. Trying to go for a spawn peek did not work for him, and he's going to be facing the consequences of his actions. Going for that spawn peek. But things are not looking. Looks like we could see a bit of a pay-free push here, as it's only going to be superior. That's just going to be trying to hold on. That C4 has been pulled, and that Flora drone is actually going to detonate. Pelcock going to find another one though on Consti, and that's going to be your Ash falling very early on. Again, Ash, not that much utility. Breach charges about all the Ash would have. But as I say that, the Ace is going to find one of his own. Has a swing coming out here from Jinky, not going to quite find anyone, but is going to get flashed, as Gilif is also going to fall to that IQ KX, as Jinky is able to find himself back into sight, into a safe haven, and he can live for another few seconds at least. And CZA looking to go for a flank here down the brown stairs. Will he be able to find anyone? One player locates him, finds the headshot though eventually, and it's now a 3 versus 3 situation though, as CZA has came out in the wrong side of that engagement, as he's now going to be walking away there with roughly about 3 or 4 HP. It's not ideal, as the prep area is now going to be heavily pushed.
Yep, the Flora drones are coming through to try and get themselves in towards the prep side, into that kitchen cooking area. The swing does come through from the Nomad, and they're inside the site. The crouch walk behind, and they don't actually know exactly where the player is. And surely they have the information. The C4 does come, that will give away the position of the mute. He's not paying attention, he's not even heard it. What headset have you got on there, Pocook? You really need to get a new one at this point. I think Quavery's got himself a double kill from that push, and that's the second time today that someone's not heard any sound cues whatsoever, whether the voice chat's too loud, whether the comms are, you know, people are screaming or what, you know, this and this, you know, maybe that's what's happening in the background, or maybe people just don't have a headset on, maybe they're just playing on their TV, I don't know, because they probably should have heard that, if I'm totally honest.
It seemed like it would have been an obvious sound cue, but it just kind of missed it, I guess, unless, you know, as you said. But then again, Siege is Siege. This game has never been known for sound bugs or, you know, any sound issues whatsoever, so that's definitely not an issue. This game is 100% fully polished esports ready.
Yeah, you would think so, of course. And we're going to see a match point though, you know, before we go off topic. Match point 6-2. Looks as though Quavery's team want to get straight into that final and get themselves an opportunity to win this tournament out. And I don't think there's much more that they can do. That's both rounds have been so convincing from the attackers. I don't think the defenders can really do much more to try and bring this back. They had a couple of good kills, a couple of good trades, but just not really got their attention in the right places. They just let them, you know, when it comes to kitchen, like, there's only really 2 avenues in. They're like default wise. There's prep, the doorway, and there's the double door from, you know, the hallway. That's it. every other way into that site has to be created. Someone has to open a wall, freezer side, someone has to open a hatch, or open the bakery wall. Every single one has to be created. And they didn't really do that at all, the attackers. They just pushed in through prep and double door. So it's like the 2 default holds, and they just didn't really have the information game. They didn't really put the focus on the area that they needed it. They were too busy worrying about other things, and they just let people push in and wander in through prep, and that lost them the round. And I'm hoping that this time they've made amendments and they can try and fix that. This time they've got an Oryx playing inside the bakery with no real ADSs or anything really to protect them, and we'll see if this works out for them. 1.5 in hand, and it decides to get themselves out of that situation and just give up bakery to the attackers. The push comes through now, and it looks as though that's exactly what's going to happen. Constantly tries to get through and get aggressive and changes their mind to go back through, but Gilliff is there to receive them in the open arms, and just like that, 2 quick kills come for the defenders. But Supper has something to say about it on the double door as Quavery is dropped out of the round, and now things will pause a little bit as the attackers try to regroup and redecide where they want to go, and the flashes come through towards that prep side, and they're sending through a couple of these Flores drones to try and weed out any of these players that are looking around that prep side. But there is a player remaining behind that shield at this moment in time. The wall has opened up, 3 versus 3 though. Supper's able to find another one on the round. It's Zyko this time, but look at that angle being held. Conste finds it. It's a 1 versus 3 scenario. Sita, can you clutch? He finds one on the staircase. He's been able to bring it back to a 1 versus 2 situation, but the information surely going to be fed that the fact the player is there, spots the head, but isn't able to find it. Conste with the final shot and the final say on this map as Quavery go through to the final, and that is it for Cafe Dostoyevsky 7-2. Very convincing.
That was probably one of the quickest maps we've had so far, by pretty much a long shot. You know, it was a very strategical play, as you've mentioned before. You know, we're coming into semi-finals now. We're just about Ben's memorial match tournament. You know, they want that title.
Before we go, we'll just go to a very quick break, and we are coming back just shortly with the final. And the other game hasn't finished yet. Of course, that is a pretty quick game, so these things will be getting started with the final just shortly. So enjoy a wee break, and we'll be back with you shortly.
Hello and welcome back to the final of the Forever Hope Memorial Tournament. We're pretty much ready to go. Teams are in the lobby. We're just getting started with the band phase. We're going to Oregon. Thanks for waiting if you're still here, and welcome back if you're just joining back in just now. Teams are going to get underway with the bands at this moment in time, and then we'll get in and have a look at what's happening on Oregon.
So, going to get into the first ban here, which it'll be interesting to see who's going to get banned first, because our ban phases have been quite different today. So, we're going to see a Thatcher being taken off the board first. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised with that ban. It's a very, it's an atypical ban. It's normal. It's, I don't think anyone should be even surprised to see it. The next few bans are probably going to be, we're going to see some odd ones in. We might see the Capcan again. Who knows? We'll just have to kind of wait and see for that. As the Jackal is also going to take it off the board, which, Jackal can just be a bit of a nuisance. That's just the main reason you want to take a Jackal out. You want to get a bit of a roam play in, and the Jackal is just going to be there just to kind of stop guard that a little bit. So we're going to get our first set of defense bans coming in here now, though, as we're going to see the K taken off the board, and I would expect potentially to see the Mira falling also, but we'll just have to wait and see, as it is the defense going to be taking their defense ban now. So I'm not quite sure if they want to get rid of that Mira, or if they're going to ban something like the Capcan or Solus, as we have seen before.
Yeah, we'll see in just a wee second. Of course, it is Oregon, which is a very common map that we'll see usually for best of ones. Solus is going to be the ban for that, and we've seen some great Solus plays throughout the tournament today. And, she's been banned for quite a while through the actual ESA team, group stages, that's what I should say. Been banned a lot. She has the highest ban percentage, over 50%, so she's been able to have a good couple of games today because people aren't really being as strategic today. It's probably the best way to describe it. But we're in the final, we're ready to go, and of course it is Oregon, so people will be a little bit more strategic, except from Nerds, who's obviously going on to the Amaru to get us started.
Hopefully we get to see some very aggressive plays coming out in the first, first couple seconds of the round. We might see some spawn peaks, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. But Capcan is going to be played, as the Capcan has been banned pretty much every game today, Sham, if I am correct. Pretty much every game has a Capcan ban.
I think
so it'll be interesting.
It was played on one of the cafes.
One of the cafes, I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
We had one explosive cafe, and then a cafe that was a very strategic cafe. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes and how the Capcan does play out, as it is going to kind of stump the aggression here on the side of J-Binds. They're definitely going to be stumped here by, the Capcan, unless, if they don't pay attention, or, they're slightly, just slightly sleeping. That Capcan will come into a massive effect and definitely kind of shut them down a little bit. But that is to be seen.
Yep, looks like an east side take is so far the avenue of approach for the attackers, as they just get up in that balcony towards that master bedroom. Is of course the top floor hold that we'll be seeing, and there's quite a few rotates being made in towards that main attic area, which is usually the case, and then between the main sites, between A and B bomb chassis, is usually where we see that rotate. Constantly is the most aggressive of the defenders out on that staircase at the moment towards Armory side. Just seems to think that there will be players looking for him. The drones do come through and do find a little bit of information to feed back, but look at Nerds waiting to go in that window. Just remains there for a second, but surely the sound cue is there that player has dropped the hatch, and it's constantly has done so as J-Binds holds onto the main door, but it's going to opt to go onto the drones just for this second. Is he constantly just dropping downstairs? Just dropping back to the bottom floor and shoots a drone, goes all the way back down, and that'll at least be a little bit of a nuisance to deal with later on as Nerds gets himself in towards Armory and hits a Capcan in the process. And you mentioned it yourself, you need to be careful of these.
Yeah, you need to be 100% aware. Capcan is on the board, and if you even take your attention off the Capcan trap for even a couple of seconds, that can be the difference between you either hitting one and taking either a full 100 damage if the Capcan has the double on the door, or even knocking you down a significant amount of HP, as that did happen to Nerds here. And that is what we're going to see. If you don't pay attention, it's going to come back and bite you in one way or another.
This position is ridiculous here from the mute, who's prone underneath that table, just waiting for the opportunity, but just turns it back. I don't know what just happened. Another completely out there play, and just not really paying attention to the fact that someone was going to be on the breach. Of course there would be. They've done the hard work to open it, and
just turned their back to that breach, and Nerds is going to find Quavery. It's a 3 versus 2 situation and is now developed after what has been a pretty big onslaught so far, as the line has to go back to site with the rotate up the white staircase, but position will be given away as the drone spots them out, and has a laser gate as well that will also play against them in this situation, because anytime they go near it, it will deactivate it, and that will give the position away of the fact that they're on that white staircase, but gets in there without taking any damage at least, and they're pretty safe so far. Spots the player on the main breach, and the red pings do come out, so they have the information game at least on what's happening on that main breach. So Nerds is going to get aggressive now, and he's going to find the FW, and that's the kill on the breach actually. It's FW to find the line actually, and the swing comes through from Zyko, and that's Nerds to find it, and the attackers take a pretty strange round, to say the least.
Yeah, the mute, definitely a bit of a misplay there, you know, just popping up when the breach was open and just turning your back to the attackers on the breach. Definitely not, you know, definitely wasn't the play. Definitely shouldn't have just walked up and turned around. You know, it's just confusing play, to be honest. There's no really like deep insight we can even offer into it. It was just confusing. It felt like a lack of information was there, and they just up and turned, and that was all she wrote for the mute's life.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It was definitely a weird one. I don't know if you would play. I think you would just play the time there and just wait for them to come in. But hey ho, mistakes were made. Gone to the bottom floor this time. Going to change things up and opting not to go for a retry on the top floor. Instead, they're going to go to a different site and try something new and see if they can buck the trend and slow down what could be a decent attack. On the attack, the side of J-Bines has been pretty quick. They're definitely the more aggressive side there. They brought the pain when it came to the gunfights, and they used as much utility as they possibly could to open up those walls and really make the players on the defense squirm before getting in there and getting rid of them. Oryx out on the roam though. KX is just going to reinforce some of these hatches, make sure that there's a little bit less of an approach available for these attackers, and that is usually the case when it comes to this roam for the Oryx, and they're just going to security, just reinforcing some stuff, not really going for any of these early spawn peaks, nothing really happening, and it's a bit of a quiet start to the round, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just kind of, you know, the aggression isn't being brought out necessarily as of yet, but then again, Nerds is still, he's on the Amaru. The aggression can be brought very, very shortly if that is going to be the chosen play, which looks like they're going to try and take maybe Master or the kid's bedroom quick enough, but it's going to be KX here, chilling in the top of tower, and if he's not going to be located, that could be an absolute thorn in the side here for the side of J-Bines. If, you know, letting that Oryx lurk around and just sit there. I don't think they're aware of anyone that might be at it, which there doesn't seem to be, and it's just going to be that player sitting in the top of T3 that will cause this issue. And there's no drones after going to be spotting KX, and he is definitely just going to be allowing Nerds to just become a sitting duck in that corner. I think this could be just a game of just wait out and see who has the longer amount of patience, and it's just going to be a waiting game, really, Sham.
Yeah, KX just holding on to the top of that tower, just waiting for any opportunity for someone to just slink their way in towards Attic and lose their life, but that's not going to happen. No one's going to go for it just yet. J-Bines and Co are coming in from the north side, regardless of what happens on that tower. They're not really interested in going for it. They're just going to wait here, and now it goes into a position that's slightly different, where KX can play off of the opportunity that they have now, because they can go for a flank later on, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to drop down through the hatch at some point and look for some kills inside the site, but they're already inside the attackers. They've already dropped down and going to find one with a spray at least, and J-Bines at the same time finds Constay, and it's all just falling apart. Attackers just steamroll down the back staircase and mellowed us with a double, and Pillar seemed to be their position that they wanted to go from, and they find that all of the kills just so quick. Everybody's swinging out, and the aggression just comes all in one go.
Just, you know, we're not going to see that early round aggression as we have been seeing before, but, you know, saving it up and just nurturing that aggression until the last couple of seconds of the round, and then just throwing everything you have at it. As you know, Melodies got a double kill at the end, so seal it off for the attackers. It's looking very, you know, the aggression is being brought out when it needs to be brought out, and it's not, you know, the unnecessary aggression that we have seen in previous games.
Yeah,
It's been a slow start. It's been pretty methodical, and they were spending the time to do a lot of the utility play. It's just the thing is it's the defense that's a little bit static. You've seen KX remained up in that top floor for so long, and by the time they got back to site, the attackers already had pillar, backstairs, and the E-box already. I mean, he killed the player coming back out of the site. So to me, that just rings true that they're not being quick enough when it comes to making these decisions when to bring the aggression against these attackers who are going to bring it all in one go. They're going to set up their execute and they're just going to go for it. That's exactly what they're going to do. That's what they've done twice, and it seems like they need to start reading into these a little bit better, or it's going to start to get away from them a little bit.
It honestly looks like it is getting away from them because, you know, just the scale of aggression and when the aggression comes out, it looks absolutely pinpoint perfect here for the team of J-Binds. But it's just, you know, a little too little too late for the side of Quavery's team in this sort of, you know, the way the side, they're not adapting. You know, there's no adaptation coming out. They're just sitting ducks really for the side of J-Binds.
And as you say that, we see Nerds entering in towards Big Tower. Top floor uses that Amaru. Their Melodis opens up the scoreboard inside this round with a kill onto KX in the Z area. And now they have at least a foothold inside of this third round. Well, I know, just going to be inside the site, which is an interesting choice considering that they're on the Oryx, and you would 9 times out of 10 you see them outside of this site and playing into the faces of these attackers, which I want to see a little bit more of. I want to see a little bit more aggression. Nice angle here though from Conste, which is a common pre-fire spot though. Should someone come around that corner, that's exactly what we're going to see, but they're going to get at least the down, and the swing comes through from the sledge and eventually does get the kill. Eternal wins that one out, and that's a kill. That's just gonna rue that chance there. They got the down but not able to get the kill, and then they were killed. They were immediately kind of, I would say refrag-ish is probably the best way to describe that, because they got the down but they didn't quite get the kill, but they were technically refragged. And they were in a 5 versus 3 situation. So kind of
a refrag-esque.
Almost the result they wanted, but they're killed, they're off the board, and they're in a 5 versus 3, and it's still in favour of the attackers. But there's a couple of glaring issues on the attack side, as they have quite a few operators that are not in the greatest situation for HP.
No, and again, there's a Capcan on the board. As we say, that Zyko's going to fall to J-Binds. As that leaves us in 5 versus 2. Eternal's going to fall though, and that's going to be J-Binds finding one more onto Quavery. It finds a third, and that puts again another flawless round on the board here for the side of J-Binds. And they're just walking away with things.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to describe it so far. 3 rounds in a row, and we've seen absolutely nothing from Quavery's side, and it just seems to be that they've just not been activated. They've not woken up at all. And the thing about Oregon is it's a pretty balanced map, so you really have a chance no matter what you do on what site. You do have an avenue to win out a round, and they've been to the bottom floor twice and it's not worked out. They've been to the top floor once, and now they're going to go back to the top floor and see if they can make amends for what has been a pretty poor showing so far, and hopefully they can get a couple of rounds on the board before it switches halves, because I don't fancy them to bring the aggression on the attack. So they really need to start getting in the faces of this side, and they're forcing the Oryx pick, and I don't know if it's I think, you know, his pick rates came up quite a bit this season, but I don't know. I think there comes a point where you kind of need to just step off of it and think, you know what, actually we'll try something different, because it's not working at all. I mean, the Oryx was inside the site for 95% in that round, and it just didn't quite work out at all.
Yeah, like it's questionable plays that's coming out from the side of you know, Quavery's team. They're bringing a too little too late when it comes to the rounds. You know, the aggression is already after steamrolling through by the time they have even started to react to that aggression. You know, there was the first frag, you know, using that angle into Z, as you know we saw from Freezer. Found, you know, the injure onto 1, and then it was just like a tunnel vision to try, you know, I want to get this frag. There was no let's fall back and, you know, we've got the knock, we'll leave it at that. There was no, you know, it's just questionable. They're not playing it how they should be. Everything just seems, you know, slightly wrong, slightly off.
Yeah, I mean, and they're just a little bit static. You've seen the kill on the Izami there at the end. The Twitch was able to get the Izami and take them off the board right in the end. And look at this. Wow, I have no idea how he's dodged that one. Voline there, so lucky to be alive. The angle was being held by Nerds, but just happens to crouch at the right time as they were chasing a drone around, not really paying attention. It's KX to find the opening pick. It's on a J-Binds this time, and that's from the window all the way through towards Armory side to find that Twitch. And now they've been dealt with, things will be a little bit easier for the defenses. It looks as though they've had the first decent start on this map of Oregon so far.
Looks like they're finally making their presence aware, as Nerds is going to take it a little bit of damage. I think that was a Capcan trap once again. as that amount of HP does look like a signature Capcan trap, as that angle from the shield in the bottom of pit is going to take a little bit more damage off Nerds. Not quite enough to take him down, but just a little bit, just to soften him up in case anyone else wants to fire some pot shots. As way that though, Melodious goes in with a massive 1.2 and brings us down to a 4 versus 3, and that's absolutely having a scorcher. Saying that though, Vodin is going to find one and find the refrag onto Melodious in that refrag, and it's just things have stalled out just a little bit here again. So it's just too little too late at times here, as we're going to say that the Thermite's also going to find one. And now we're going left in 5 versus 2, as Nerds finds one. And the third is found, and that's going to be another decently convincing round here for the side of J-Binds.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like J-Binds will try to get this over and done with quick as you like. It was a little bit late starting, and they seem as though they're just pummeling them into the ground so far. That's 4 rounds in a row. That looked like the closest attempt at winning them, and they're bringing the Oryx again, and I just don't think it's working. The kills are coming from the Oryx are coming from inside of sight. They haven't really done anything off site at all. So at that stage, you're usually just playing in front of the gun, the T5, the 1.5, right? So if you want a 1.5, just pick an operator that's going to bring you a little bit more utility, a little bit more usage elsewhere, because they don't have any other operators that have a 1.5 bar, the Capcan, so they have still got the option. They still got the Frost available. They could bring that, you know, get the shield, get the Frost traps, and at least stop some of the hop-ins. You know, you've got so many operators that you can bring. You've also got the Vector coming inside on Goyo. So if it's a 1.5 that they really want, you have Warden as well. You know, the list goes on in terms of who you've got. So I would like to see them bring a little bit more when it comes to that, or at least just go balls to the walls when it comes to the actual roam game. They're not really dedicating to it. You see, the Oryx was in Armory Stairs, never really got anywhere. Then at the top of the White Staircase, again, never got anywhere. The round before that, the Oryx stayed in sight the entire time, didn't move, didn't really do anything. And then it's just, you mentioned that a couple times, it's too little too late. Like, it's not really, but that time, you know, if you've not had your roamer do anything out on the roam, waste time, get any picks or do anything, then it's kind of pointless. So pick one, stick with it. Either go for the roam, get some operators dedicated to that, or get everybody back to site and bring some utility. I'd like to see.
Yeah, 100%. You make, like, those are some extremely valid points that, you know, hopefully that they kind of adapt to. But I honestly don't think they're going to be able to adapt to this. As you know, I think the only way to really even try and win this is you fight with aggression. As we say, that one frag going to come out from the book, as the Oryx is finally able to get some action here and get some frags on the board. But again, as you know, I think I have mentioned before, it might be a little too late, as Zako's going to be taken down. That's going to be your smoke knocked. They might be able to get that smoke if he's in a savable position, but it's not going to seem likely at this point. It's just everything seems to be falling apart here for Quavery's team, as you know, there's another injury on the board as KX is also going to fall. It's quite questionable on what's happening here for the side of Quavery. But then again, we've constantly here holding the angle of top main, which we should be able to get a frag here though if he's able to win the gunfight here. Kind of swings again, able to take some damage, and now it's in a 2 versus 3 situation as Nerds, Eternal and Melodious are still on the board, as Melodious finds another one. Absolute scorcher of a game here coming out from him though, as he's able to find the final headshot, and a beautiful one at that, and take us now on to our 6th round. We're 0 and 5, all in favour of the J-Binds.
Ridiculous. You know, I'm a bit baffled at the way that they're playing this, to be honest. You know, they stick the Oryx in trophy the entire round behind the shield and play off the 1.5. Like, you know, mentioned that, like, Frost could easily do that and at least bring some extra utility. It's just strange. It's just a strange way to approach it. They're not really dedicating to either or. You know, sometimes you get the situation where you can have maybe 4 people inside the site, 1 roamer, and that's fine, and they kind of lurk a little bit and they play a bit, but they're not really doing that. They're playing maybe roam operators inside the site, or they're just not getting in the faces. They're not taking any gunfights. They're not really doing it. They're just static. It's just the way they're playing. They're letting themselves, you know, a lot of the kills are coming from positions where they're not actually paying attention to, and it's just unfortunate the way it's playing out for them. You know, 5 rounds in a row, and J-Binds look pretty convincing to me. I think they'll probably take the rest of this match, if I'm completely honest. And I hate to say it, but I think we might see a 7-0.
Honestly, the 7-0 seems very likely, as I think the best word to call the gameplay we're seeing coming out from Quaver's team is lackluster. They're just not providing anything onto the board. Like, this Oryx has been stuck now 6 rounds back to back and has only netted maybe 2 or 3 frags, if even that, which is not a situation you need to be in. But it looks like Quaver's getting a bit more aggressive here though with the roam, and actually once he had a lot heavier of a roam game coming out here. That's why I say that KX is going to fall back and that roam game is just going to slip deeper into the map, which is, if you're going to have your roam game, stick to it. You know, you're not going to be constantly falling in and out with the roam game. You either choose to do it or you choose not to. You know, there's no 50-50, but sitting in this corner here, if Melodius is not aware, as it looks, Jaeger runs across, they're able to get that gunfight, beautiful headshot into the head of KX, and that's going to be leads to a 4 versus 5. Very early on the round, Melodius took decent amount of damage, but that's not going to hinder him. The cap can has not been brought out this time, actually. As we say, that though it's going to be the alibi, being able to find one on to the head of FW. And now we're leveled up. This is where potentially we'll see Quavery's team come in and maybe just snatch a round out from under the side of the J-Binds. But it's not looking likely, as things are just kind of stalling out for them again. Still a minute 35 on the clock. And this is where we're going to have to see Cordy come in absolutely huge here. As some shots are fired, not going to land the headshot. And it's just a bit slow here, Sam.
Yeah, they're slowed down a little bit, but that's fine. I think the defenders will take that at the minute in time. 4 versus 4, but just to say that, of course, Eternal does find the kill onto Quavery, and now things are looking a little bit sticky for the defense, as there's 3 members inside the site now, and the line has been pretty impactful inside of this round. And this is what we mentioned before. It's where we criticised them, and of course we need to give the credit to the attackers as well. They've been really well. You've had Meliodas at the focal point of a lot of these attacks and finding a lot of these frags as J-Binds gets up towards that barrels door and towards blue bunker, and Nerds rotate around to try and join them. Eternal on that backstairs area, and Meliodas has an opportunity to get in from Laundry side pretty much undetected if they're able to open it. Eternal is able to find himself another kill, and nade this time though, but Zyko's there to slow down the push from bunker behind the shield, finds J-Binds, and now the pinch from behind is Melodius is still on the drones, and this is the most patient Ash I've ever seen in the entire 8 years of Siege, I think, at this point. Droning for almost a minute now, and now they're going to be activated eventually inside of a Laundry. They're completely unawares of this. Zyko doesn't know that it's happening, as Valine's able to find Eternal on the back stairs, and another one at the same time as Nerds eventually gets that player rid of inside of Elbow, or inside the site, even as I should say, as Melodius is ready and lying in wait for the player to come through from Elbow, and that is 6 rounds in a row.
It is a 7-0, unless there's absolutely something, unless they can pull out some major aggression here when they swap onto their attacks. It looks like we're going to see a 7-0 in favour of the J-Binds here. It's some, I'm not going to say the word dreadful here, but it's, there's just so many mistakes being made here from the side of Quavery's team. It's just, half the mistakes are such easy ones to fix. It's not exactly if it's difficult mistakes they're making. They're just making some basic mistakes that have just led to rounds that could have been won. And it's just slowly I think it's just gone from their fingers at this point. It's not slipping anymore. It has just, their grasp is finally opened.
Yeah, I think at this point it's completely gone, and it's just the first. Never really want to see such a one-sided game, especially when most of the rounds are coming from simple errors that you're making. Whether it's the wrong lineup, whether it's the wrong style of play, because it's almost like they've been caught in 2 minds, and they want to bring aggression, but they're just bringing it at the wrong time. They are sticking people inside the site, and they're kind of doing nothing the whole round. They're not really assisting anything, they're not really holding anything, and then they get caught being too static when they eventually do push. Or the roamers just come back too early, or the roamers don't really roam, they don't really, it's kind of all over the place in the defense. I'm hoping that their attack's better, if they can win 6 rounds in a row, then, why can't they? Both teams are in the final here, so we can certainly give it a go, and we'll certainly see if we can get any more players back into this, and see if we can get a couple of rounds and get a game on our hands, hopefully.
Yeah, one thing I think one thing we should be mentioning, I don't think it should be following through on the, the complete downfall here on the side of Quaver's team. We've got to really congratulate the side of J-Binds. So as we say that, J-Binds is going to fall to KX, and that's going to be another opening frag here on the board for the side of Quaver's team. And this hopefully going to be the start of something great for them, as Melodis is also going to be on around 50-ish HP. So definitely every advantage is in the hands of Quaver's team. It's just what they do with this advantage is what's going to lead to a round either win or round loss, as they're just not able to get the breach. As I said, that Volin's going to take a bit of damage as well. And it's just... I'm just unsure what to even say what's happening right here. It's just... You know, slow.
Just as you say that, of course, the whole round completely injects some venom into it. The walls opened up, quite a few picks traded over on the other side, and suddenly, just like that, we're in a 2 versus 2 situation. We had them set up the OSA shields with the wall with the ace charges there, but look at that, all 3 ace charges have gone off and they're not opening the wall. There is no avenue in there. The only way to get through that wall is to prone through it. The C4 is sent out. It doesn't find its mark onto anyone inside the closet. Constantly knows there's a player behind that shield and can't quite weed them out as we speak. Trying to get in there. Uses the EMP to try and cover their push, but is not able to do so as of yet. And now Eternal's able to swing it, finds Zyko, and I think that this looks like it's all going to fall away. As now Nerds is probably going to go up for the swing from behind the shield and find the final pick. It is Eternal to find it. The defenders win this one, and it is a 7-0 victory in the final. And just like that, it's all over and out.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate for this side of Quavery's team. They've worked so hard to get here. The match that we casted, before, previous this one, they had an absolute great game. But everything, the gameplay was just lackluster. So many simple kind of mistakes that were made, and it just wasn't, today just wasn't their day. Just was not their day.
Certainly unfortunate. Certainly is unfortunate. So we'll get this all closed off. Thanks everyone for joining in today. It's been a wonderful day of Siege. Thanks everybody for getting together and getting us organised. I'm happy that everyone's came here. And we've had a good day of Siege. We've had a few games that have been a lot better than others. And it's all been for a good cause, of course. Just as you can see on screen at the moment, we have the dedication to Crow Gremlin, who is a player who played for quite a few of the competitive scenes and competitive teams even in Discord in terms of the EU leagues on PlayStation most of the time. A lot of the players that, some of the players today that played are from Xbox and whatnot and probably haven't played with him and don't know him as well. Both me and Darren have had the pleasure of casting a lot of his games and a lot of his plays, and today we've seen quite a few members taking up the mantle of the Boss G. He was known to play the Boss G quite a lot, and he was known to play the Ying and whatnot. And we've seen some really great ones. The Cafe game stands out as a wonderful game solo with that amazing play. The 4K on the Boss G. It's always nice to see people trying to emulate what Crow did, and I'm glad that this has brought the community together. It's a really unfortunate circumstance for it to happen, but I'm happy with the result that we've got today. I hope that everyone in chat has enjoyed themselves. I hope everyone in the games has enjoyed themselves, and I think we did Crow proud. And of course, all the proceeds today will be given directly to the charity that's been elected, and of anything additional as well will be given on to his family as well. But thanks everyone for joining today. Thanks everyone for dropping by the stream and donating and getting involved in the chat, and we really appreciate it. And we hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. And thanks for joining. Thanks. Bye bye.